What is up, everybody? Boy, what a day. What a week. There's been a lot of news since the last time I was on here on Saturday. I guess we'll just sit here and talk about the Eagles game because that's the only thing that happened. Pretty defensive game. I'll be honest with you, at one point or another, I was playing a game during halftime, and the football game stopped playing, and by the time I turned it back on, it was the third quarter was over, and I didn't miss anything. But we won. We won, so that's good. Anyways, just gonna watch funny videos and talk about football today because there's nothing else going on. Nothing else really worth talking about right now. I'm drinking out of my Christmas cup right now. Okay, drinking out of my Christmas cup because today is like Christmas. Oh man, what a gift that was. How many emails? These people are going through these emails like a hot knife through butter. It is going so quickly. They are finding all the emails. Like people, there are so many people on the case right now that it is just insane. Like there's so many emails just flying out with incriminating evidence in them. It's insane. And actually, it was just coming on here, to be honest. Tonight, I was going to just come on here and make fun of the feckless Democrats that caved. I was going to make fun of the 8 Democrats. In fact, I was thinking I was going to make a shirt. I was going to call them the Craven 8. And maybe we'll put like a never forget on the back. But putting all 8 pictures of these Democrats on a shirt. Because, you know, all of these Democrats that voted on this are not up for re-election right now. Some of them aren't up for re-election until 2030. At least one of them is retiring. And I was just like, you know what? There's so much about this that's absolute bullshit. And we're gonna talk some shit about some fucking feckless Democrats tonight. And you know what? Donald Trump and the Epstein files kind of saved him. Because we're not going to start off the show talking about them. But we will get to them. Because just like what I said about the Epstein files, that we're not letting the Epstein files go away. We're going to keep talking about the Epstein files over and over and over again until these victims get justice. We're going to just keep doing that, right? Well, we're going to do the same with feckless Democratic establishment politicians as well. We're not sweeping that under the rug either. So we will be getting to that tonight. But yes, we will be starting the show tonight with a very, very in-depth look at these emails. I've got a nice X account here that's sharing a bunch of them, and I already had stories, articles that I had seen the last few days that I want to go over. So there's a lot to go over. But first, of course, as always, we got to say hi to the people. Alan Hinkle, number one, Alan. Good job. Tammy, number 2. What's happening, Tammy? What's happening, Alan? Jeannie, what's going on, Jeannie? Maristella, what's happening? Welcome back. The people, always good to see the people. Let's see. Nightbot doing the work. Tia, what's happening, Tia? Good to see you. Let's see. Woke Mike, good to see you, Woke Mike. There won't be no Titus tonight. Sorry, buddy. It's just if anybody that's tired of hearing about the Epstein files, tonight is not your night. We're going to talk a lot about the Epstein files. Luis Rivera, welcome to the chat. His talk about not getting into heaven is a confession. You know it is. You know it is, Luis. You know it. We've known it was, right? You were watching a Patrick Fitzgerald new video. Yeah, I like the Patrick Fitzgerald videos there, Mike. I was actually just watching one earlier today myself. I'm actually on vacation right now. It's a staycation. I'm not really doing anything. I went and played disc golf with my children and my wife, and took my kid to go shopping the other day, and we cooked some burgers and hot dogs for the football game. So that's what we did. You know, real American shit. Watching football, eating hamburgers, and talking about the Epstein files. True patriot shit. Trump is definitely compromised. Alan, yeah. Yeah, from the little bit I've read so far. Yeah. RA, what's happening? Should be interesting live stream tonight. You know it. We got a lot to talk about. Tia says, I'm so sick of working 12-hour days for crappy pay. It's insane that everything is so expensive. I can't afford to buy potato chips as a treat. Yep. It's the insanity of living in America right now. It is insane. I'm taking this vacation. I don't have vacation hours. I'm actually losing money all week this week. So I just needed, for my own mental health, I needed to take some days off because between streaming and between working a full-time job and having a very stressful job, I needed to take some days off, and it's going to cost me a week's worth of pay, and that's going to be painful at one point, but to be honest, it just needed to happen. I couldn't keep going. I was pretty tired. Let's see. Okay, let's take a drink now before AG gets on, unless you want to spit it all over the people. I would never do that to you. Why would I ever do that to you? If these files are really exposed, my liquor is on standby. Oh, Maristelle, it's good times, my friends. We've got a manic in the chat. Kinky Streets. What's happening, Kinky Streets? How come so many Dems don't know? Angus King of Maine. Senator is not a Democrat. Maine has no... he's a independent. But he caucuses, Kinky. He caucuses with the Democrats. Same way Bernie Sanders caucuses with the Democrats. Talia, what's happening? But I am very much aware that Angus King is not a Democrat. But he does count. He's center-left. When we talk about political stuff, it's left and right. That is what it is. I know progressives hate being lumped in with Democrats. I know that liberals hate being lumped in with progressives. But the foundation of all of your beliefs are the same, and then you have a difference in certain ideologies. That's the reason I say all the time, y'all should stop hiding behind fucking political parties and realize that people represent policies. Parties do not represent policies. So Angus King, even if I think he's a dipshit, even if I think he's feckless, I also still think he more than likely still agrees with me on probably 70% of the shit that he holds as fundamental values. That doesn't mean that I still will not call for his ass to get primaried by somebody that fits more like 80 to 90% of my political values. But I'm also not the type of person to just sit here and say that somebody's not a Democrat or not on the left because, they chose to do one thing I don't like. So I'm over that shit. Let's see. DM Dean, what's happening, DM Dean? Talia, what's happening? I say hi to you, Talia. Let's see. Pinkerbell, what's up, Pinkerbell? Uncle Fatty, you came in early. What do you think? You're an air traffic controller? No free days off. Yeah, I know, right? I'm not getting back pay for this shit, just so you guys know. Is Ghislaine responsible for the new information? Some people believe that. Some people, and we're going to get to the commutation stuff, some people believe that she is leaking some of this stuff, but I don't think it is. Well, Sanders, King does actually caucus with the Democrats. I'm 100% on that. I'm sure. Here, let me see. Yes, U.S. Senator Angus King, an independent, caucuses with the Democrats in the Senate. By joining the Democratic caucus, he is able to secure committee assignments and vote with them on most issues, though he emphasizes his ability to take independent positions and engage in bipartisan deal-making. So, yes, Angus King 100% does a caucus with the Democrats. Sorry, but I'm right. I have a very good memory. Schumer has to go? 100%, Alan. 100%. Fetterman's got to go. Fuck Fetterman. Fetterman got to go. Schumer's got to go. All the feckless ass Dems that did their thing got to go. Got to go. What's going to be the consequences of trust to listen to these files? None. Maristella. Let's be honest. Nothing is going to happen. This is just really what we're doing is we're just continuing to hopefully show people that are moderate Republicans, center-right, libertarians, people that aren't in the MAGA cult, that this entire time, everything that we said is true, and that even though they want to be like, you're just Orange Man bad, or TDS, or whatever bullshit they want to say, that, if they're going to stay 10 toes down on this issue, then they are protecting a person that is in the Epstein files and, if not, has committed acts that would potentially put him in the Jeffrey Epstein group of individuals. So, I don't think MAGA's not going to flip on this. MAGA is not going to change their mind. It's a cult. Like I said, MAGA will drink the Kool-Aid, put on the Nikes, get in the bunk bed, and take a ride in the tail of the comet. That's the way it is. They will 100% do it. There's no changing their minds. The best that we can hope for that is that there are elections in 2026, that the midterms flip blue, that feckless Democrats do not cave and slink off into the night with their tail between their legs, and that we get an impeachment and a removal of Trump, and we start seeing investigations into all these people, including these ICE agents. That's the best we can really hope for here. We're not hoping that MAGA is going to all of a sudden come to the light and be like, oh my God, look at this. This is so amazing. Like, they were right this whole time. No, that's not going to happen. It's a fucking cult, dude. It's a fucking cult. JW says politics are gay. Okay, that's a new one. That's new. I mean, I guess that means they're not bad. They're happy. They're confident in their sexuality. Politics are confident in their sexuality. All right, JW. Whatever you say, dude. I mean, I think politics are exhausting. I think politics are disgusting. I think politics are needlessly complicated. But I've never enjoyed their presence the way I have gay men. So, gonna just disagree there. All right, we're drinking a lot of coffee right now. Trump is in the files? Yeah, I do believe so. Allegedly. Sorry for coughing in your faces. It's not COVID, guys. It's not COVID. Kevin, what's happening, Kevin? All right. I think we have said hi to everybody. Mountain bike. Almost forgot. What's happening, mountain bike? I think we've covered everybody in the chat. So we might as well get started because we have a lot to cover today. We did start a little bit early, though. Gave ourselves a little bit. Randy Rainbow makes politics gay and fabulous. Yes, 100% true. Kyle calls it the Democratic Tea Party. That's actually not far from the truth. But as I've said before, I'm not going to act like these guys don't have left-leaning fundamental values. That's the one thing I want to continue to hold tight to because I still disagree with people on the left that purity test. I still disagree with people on the left that think that you can't disagree with people and even want them to be primaried to have a better candidate and still not think that those people don't vote the same as you do. Like I said, I don't think Angus King or even John Fetterman is going to. Well, I don't know. John Fetterman actually worries me. I know John Fetterman looks like he's my uncle, but we're not related. There's definitely a chance that John Fetterman starts voting against women's rights. So I might be wrong about that one. He might need to go. I mean, he needs to go, but I mean, he might need to go to the other side. He might need to join MAGA. That might be his home. So we're gonna start tonight's show. We're gonna start at the new beginning. Okay. We're going to start at the new beginning of the Epstein file saga, the new chapter. Let's call it that. We're going to start with Rep. Grajava sworn in. Only like fucking 2 months later. Only 2 months later. But being the number one signature that we needed on these files to be voted on, which is still a lot of hurdles to go to jump over right now. So everybody should know that this is not a done deal, and this article goes a little bit into that. But I wanted to cover this a little bit because it does cover a bit of what is going to happen next. Arizona Democrat Adelita Grajava was officially sworn into the House on Wednesday, 7 weeks after she won a special election and just before the House is set up to Senate pass legislation to reopen the government. House Speaker Mike Johnson administered the oath of office, which prompted loud applause from Democrats, including, guys, there were 2 of Epstein's survivors there in the audience with her. She brought 2 of them with her. Grijalva spoke on the House floor and immediately after that signed the discharge petition that would force a floor vote on compelling the Department of Justice to release the complete files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Justice cannot wait another day, she said. Grijalva pointed to the new emails released by House Democrats earlier Wednesday in which Epstein made mentions of President Donald Trump. Our democracy only works when everyone has a voice, she said. This includes the millions of people across the country who have experienced violence and exploitation, including Liz Stein and Jessica Michaels, both survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's abuse. They are here in the gallery with us this evening. Thank you for being here, she said. Which this is her looking amazing. Looking amazing. All right. It's past time for Congress to restore its role as a check and balance on this administration and fight for we, the American people, she said. We need to fight for our immigrant communities and veterans. We need to stand up for our public schools, children, and educators. We need to respect tribal sovereignty and our environment. We need to stand up for LGBTQ plus rights because that's what the American people expect us to do, fight for them. That is why I will sign the discharge petition right now to release the Epstein files. That is what we want to hear from the people that we voted into office. Grijalva's election win was 4 days after Johnson dismissed lawmakers following House passage of the clean continuing resolution to fund the government in mid-September. So when could a vote on the Epstein files discharge petition occur? After Grijalva signed the discharge petition, a procedure and maneuver to bypass House leadership on forcing floor votes on legislation, it reached the necessary 218 vote threshold for a vote to be forced in the lower chamber. And of course, Donald Trump was literally calling Nancy Mace. He was calling Lauren Boebert. You know, 2 of the most surprising things about all of this is how Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene have actually stood on business. Nancy Mace, I would say I also didn't really see that coming as well. The Libertarians, I figured that they would be good, Massey and Rand, but I did not see Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene standing on this, and I do think that is in big part due to the fact that Donald Trump has not included Boebert, has not included Marjorie Taylor Greene. He has included people like Laura Loomer in his decision-making process. And even though that's a loss for him, that's a win on both sides for us. Both. Well, I don't know. I might rather have him listening to Lauren Boebert or Marjorie Taylor Greene than Laura Loomer. I'm not sure. That's a toss-up. But either way, it's a win for us that neither one of these people that we do not hold in high esteem got to help make decisions in this government. And also at the same time, it pissed off Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert enough that now they're like, fuck you, guy. You know, what is it? There is no, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. How about 2 of them that are straight up trailer park as fuck and just ready to pull those trailer park bona fides out and just put in work against Donald Trump. This is amazing stuff right now. The petition led by Reps Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna now needs to ripen, meaning it will receive floor consideration after 7 legislative days, according to House rules. After that, any member who signed the petition can call up the measure and notify of an intention to offer a discharge motion on the floor. Then Speaker Johnson has 2 legislative days to schedule a vote. So the earliest the House will hold a vote on the discharge petition is in early December after the chamber's Thanksgiving recess. So that's what we're looking at, right? We're looking at December, early December, to see the vote on the floor. The House would have to take several procedural votes with hours of debate on the floor before the bill would receive a final vote. The Speaker could attempt to table a final vote on the measure or even refer it to committee to block the bill's passage in the House. It is unclear at this moment what Johnson will do. And that'll probably all depend on, what was it the other day? Black Boot Official was talking about it. A certain guy getting put into Congress in Tennessee, right? Like the idea was that if they kept the government shut down until December, he could have came in, he could have pretty much blocked Gravalge's vote, and it wouldn't have mattered. So in some ways, this government shutdown ending right now actually ended at the right time if Black Boot Official was correct and that vote special election in Tennessee were to go to a Republican that could then vote against a discharge. There's no guarantee that person would have voted against it, but most likely they would, right? So, there is a silver lining to the government shutdown ending right now. As far as the bill being blocked and, Mike Johnson choosing to do, once again, some type of stall tactics, I don't doubt that that'll happen. That's most likely what will happen, in my opinion. But at this point, I'd say it's 70-30. Because there's a lot of steam behind the fact that people are saying that there's Republicans in the Senate that might actually jump ship and vote to have the Epstein files discharged. Now, as I understand it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong about this, chat, is that it still needs to be signed off for by either Trump or by Trump's Department of Justice. And we know we're not going to see either one of those things happening. So this is really just, once again, a way of showing that Donald Trump does not want these files to be released, that, once again, Donald Trump protects pedophiles. If the measure does pass the House, the Senate would also need to take up the bill, and there is no guarantee that would occur under Senate Majority Leader John Thune's leadership. Speaker Johnson was opposed to the discharge petition effort, pointing to the work being done by the House Oversight Committee on Epstein. The committee has released thousands of records related to Epstein provided by the Department of Justice. Some of the documents released by the committee include public court filings and transcripts from his associate, Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, previously released flight logs from Epstein's plane, already public Bureau of Prisons communications the night of Epstein's death, and various other public court papers from Epstein's criminal case in Florida. Maxwell has consistently denied any wrongdoing. So, once again, all of the stuff that they talk about that has been released had already been released. This is like not new stuff, right? The stuff that is coming out now is new. And it didn't come from Trump's administration. It didn't come from Trump's Department of Justice. It came from the estate of Epstein, okay? The estate of Epstein, because it was the defense lawyer of the survivors that told Ro Khanna that he should petition for the subpoena for the Epstein estate. The 23,000 emails that many people feel like were just put out today in an attempt to kind of cover up for the ones that were going to be released selectively by Democrats today on Trump are a red herring. I actually don't think that. I think that they did do that for that reason, but I don't think that it's going to accomplish what they think they wanted to, right? Because there are so many people like myself right now that are on this, that are talking about this. You have mainstream media talking about this, you have alternative media talking about this. You have posts on Facebook, on X. You have everybody just going through all of these emails with fine-tooth comb, and they are coming up with some of the craziest information already, and a lot of it does insinuate that Trump is implicated at least in having a very strong relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, which of course he's denied multiple times. And there's no reason for you to deny that if there is nothing there. If I didn't know Jeffrey Epstein, if like I don't know Jeffrey Epstein, right? I want the Epstein files to be released. If somebody was like, I think the Angry Ginger is in the Epstein files, then I'd be like, fucking release the files, dog. Let's see it. But he's not going to. He's not going to. Because most likely his ass is all over the Epstein files. All over them. And here's the thing. Here's the thing that came out this week. Here's the thing that came out this week. And this is why the stalling process for the Epstein files has been important, because Donald Trump is an expert at stalling. Donald Trump did this with the Florida cases. He did this with the Georgia case. He attempted to do it with the New York case, and that didn't work out for him. In the over 4,000 cases that he's had litigated against him as a businessman over 30 years, Donald Trump, if he is an expert at one thing, he is an expert at stalling the courts. So Donald Trump is doing that right now. He's doing that with the Supreme Court. He did it with the SNAP benefits, and now he's trying to do it with the Epstein files. One of the reasons that people think that that's happening, and one of the reasons that people believe that some of this information is coming from Ghislaine Maxwell, is because Ghislaine Maxwell, guys, is applying to commute her sentence. No one saw that coming, right? Why? That's weird. That's weird that Ghislaine Maxwell would think Donald Trump would want to commute her sentence? What would give her the feeling, would it possibly be that she was moved to a low security prison after being bought Chick-fil-A for breakfast and having a long conversation with Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's personal lawyer, who failed to keep him from getting convicted 34 times as a felony in the Stormy Daniels case? I'm going to keep reminding people of that. Is that why? Because it seems as though many people, including the people that are in the prison with her, they believe that that's why. Ghislaine Maxwell plans to ask Trump to commute sentence, House Democrats say. Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking co-conspirator, is planning to apply for a commutation of her federal prison sentence, which is set to run through 2037, according to documents obtained by Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee and seen by CBS News. Now, mind you, this is before the emails were just released, right? In a letter to President Trump on Monday, also seen by CBS News, Judiciary Committee Democrats wrote that Maxwell is preparing a commutation application for your administration to review, undoubtedly coming to you for your direct consideration. The warden herself is directly helping Miss Maxwell copy, print, and send documents related to this application. As we went over in the video just the other day, I think it was on Saturday, that is not something that wardens do. Wardens do not help convicts print out and apply for commutation. This is insane. The letter says the information received demonstrates either that Miss Maxwell is herself requesting you release her from her 20-year prison sentence for a role as a co-conspirator in Jeffrey Epstein's international child sex trafficking ring, or that this child sex predator now holds such tremendous sway in the second Trump administration that you and your DOJ will follow her clemency recommendations. The letter also alleges that Maxwell's receiving preferential and lenient treatment at the Bryant Federal Prison Camp in Texas, where she was transferred over the summer after meeting with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche to discuss the Epstein case. And we, like I said, once again, went over those emails where she said, "Man, I'm so much happier here. This is way better than being in a real prison." And then weirdly talked about possums falling from the ceiling and being forced to eat possum meat, which is very weird, but also probably true in a New York State prison. I'm not going to deny that. Federal law enforcement staff working at the camp have been waiting on Miss Maxwell hand and foot, says the letter signed by my favorite representative, Jamie Raskin, the ranking Democrat on the committee. The committee's letter says the panel has received information that the prison camp staff has heaped favorable concierge-style treatment on Miss Maxwell, such as customized meals that are hand-delivered to her cell. When Maxwell wanted to arrange a private meeting with visitors, the letter says, the warden personally arranged it for her and then provided a special cordoned-off area for visitors to arrive, as well as an assortment of snacks and refreshments for her guests. Does that sound like a fucking prison to you? How is this not weird to you guys? Well, I know it's weird to you guys. I'm mostly talking to MAGA. I don't. MAGA is insane, dude. It's a fucking cult. It's like the worst. Well, it's the best cult and the worst cult. It is the best formulated cult that has ever existed, but it's also the worst morality-wise cult that has ever existed. And I think that's really saying something. Consider that there are cults out there that literally just want to end the world. And I think that this cult actually might be worse than that, because they don't want to end the world. They just want to torture us, like all of us, including children, apparently. So, like, MAGA could possibly actually be the worst, most malicious, morally depraved cult that has ever existed. I think that's a possibility. Okay, so she had her little secret meeting with all the people, getting themselves some refreshments with the guests. Letter also says Maxwell's visitors were allowed to bring computers, which it calls an unprecedented action by the warden given the security risk and potential for Miss Maxwell to use a computer to conduct unmonitored communications with the outside world. Maxwell's defense attorney did not immediately respond to requests for comment. I don't have any real empathy for her attorney, but that's got to be a rough job. CBS News reported on August 1st that Maxwell was transferred from a low-security prison in Tallahassee, Florida, to the Bryan Prison Camp, a smaller, minimum-security facility. No reason was given for the move. Her transfer came just days after Maxwell's highly unusual meeting with Todd Blanche in Tallahassee, in which her attorney said she answered all of Blanche's questions to the affirmative that, no, Donald Trump didn't do anything. Don't worry about it. And neither did President Bill Clinton. Like I said, if you're MAGA, you should be fucking losing your mind as well. Like, even if you're like, no, actually, she told the truth about Trump. Well, she also said Bill Clinton didn't do anything. So, like this is fucking insane that you guys are doing these mental gymnastics to protect a woman that harmed children, a dude who is 100% covering it up, and even a president in the opposing party that you guys definitely do not like. It's insane. It's insane. In their letter, Democrats called for Blanche to be made available for a public hearing to answer questions to the committee about the use of law enforcement resources and any potential exchange of favors. Yeah, he ain't showing up to that, big dog. He ain't showing up to that. He definitely ain't showing up to that one. But there's one more thing I wanted to do here, going along with this. As far as this goes, right? Recently on CNN, also, the defense lawyer, a consultant defense lawyer, came on and talked about some of the clients that are actually in the prison with Ghislaine Maxwell, right? So this is a video of him talking about the other prisoners in there, like divulging information on Ghislaine Maxwell's stay. Oops.
New information from inside Epstein accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell's prison camp. Federal prison consultant Sam Mangle, you know him. He's been on the show several times. He has clients serving time alongside Maxwell, so he hears firsthand what's happening there. He tells us that inmates are frustrated at the special treatment that they see her receiving.
Look at that picture, dude. Look at that picture. Does that look like a prison picture to you? Open the fucking thing on the signpost there, the street signpost. Open-mindedness, honesty, willingness. Do you think that's the type of prison that a woman that has been convicted of trafficking or being a co-conspirator and trafficking children should be in? Just answer me that fucking question. Does that look like the treatment a person should be receiving for harming children? Tell me that.
Customized meals, they say, access to exercise areas after hours, and a puppy to play with.
Guys, she got a puppy. Because that's completely normal shit. Everybody that has done what this woman has done to children gets a puppy. And they talk about people on the left. They talk about people on the left letting people out on the streets for violent crimes. And how bad that is, and how these people should be locked away for life. This woman got a puppy, guys. They got a puppy.
Blowers have been saying this. Now, inmates, according to Mangle, have gone directly to the warden, and they're getting the sense that Maxwell won't be there long. Sam Mangle is out front now.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that? Why do you think they think that they have the feeling that she won't be there long? That's crazy that a bunch of inmates would think that somebody that's there is going to be leaving soon.
So, I mean, Sam, obviously the significance of that statement, I mean, could be everything, right? Because with what she is convicted of, you know, she wouldn't be in this facility to begin with, right? She got moved there suddenly after a meeting with the Deputy Attorney General. So to be moved out of there might imply a commutation, which we know she wants from the president. Why do the inmates believe she won't be at the prison long?
Prison's a lousy place to be for anyone. You lose all of your freedom, your rights, everything. You really become a number. But the general sense that I'm getting from my clients and their families that are there is that typically they're treated with antipathy. That's how staff treats an inmate.
Yeah,
but Ms. Maxwell is being treated with a tremendous amount of deference. And that is extremely unusual, if unheard of, within the Bureau of Prisons between inmate and staff. And one comment that was passed to me by the sister of my client was someone in the staff made a passing comment of, "Don't worry, you won't have to put up with this very long." I don't know.
One of the staff members, one of the people in the prison, saying to Ghislaine Maxwell, "Don't worry about this, you won't have to put up with this for very long." That's insane. Where you at, conspiracy MAGA? Where you at? Like, y'all had conspiracies from everything under the fucking sun. One of them was Jeffrey Epstein. Where you at? The staff in her prison is saying to her, don't worry, Ghislaine, here's a puppy. Here's an umbrella. Here's a phone for you. Here's a laptop. Here's some secret meetings. Let's get you to the gym. Let's bring food to your doorstep. You don't find any of that weird? None of that strikes you as being out of the ordinary. It's a cult. MAGA's a fucking cult.
In what context it was said, but obviously what is being discussed in the media lends itself to a certain assumption.
Yeah, well, it certainly does, and obviously we know, the reporting that she has been putting together a formal request for commutation. Now, just to point out, Maxwell was moved to this lower security prison without any explanation right after meeting with Trump's DOJ, right? So she gets moved, and the treatment that she has received is so interesting. You say that usually inmates are treated with antipathy, and that in her case, the word to be used is deference. What more can you share about this deferential special treatment?
It can be something as small as when she first got there, while she's dressed the same way, gets the same food, however, it's being brought to her from the kitchen to where she's living. And typically, inmates can't take food out of the kitchen. It's being brought to her. She got a new mattress when she came in. And trust me.
Bro, they gave her a new mattress. Every time I hear something new, I'm just like, where you guys at? Where's that one fucking dude? The dude who's right-wing grifting now. JD DeLay. Dude was all against the pedos. Now he's just straight up a MAGA cult member too. Just he had put him in the wood chipper hats and all that shit. And now the dude is doing nothing but he hates Antifa content. Where you at, dog? Where you at? You boys out here literally fucking allowing a co-conspirator, a person who harmed children, her damn self, to get a new mattress, to have fucking food delivered door to door, and that's why I know every one of these motherfuckers are full of shit. Full of shit. Bunch of grifting ass, fake influencer, bullshit, phase one, Epstein file, dog shit, wannabe heroes. That's it. They're nothing. Zero, zip, zilch. They're fucking grifters.
As someone who went through that, a new mattress is a prized possession, in the BOP. She's given.
And that motherfucker should know. He was in prison. Talking about JD DeLay. He should know.
A lot of latitude for her outdoor rec time and her personal time. I know that she's not working at this point. She's not part of any social groups. The women tend to stay away from her
for
a myriad of reasons. Also, from what...
Bro, the other prisoners are like, nah, this bitch she's toxic. Because she's in a prison with a bunch of white-collar people. A bunch of people that did like fraud, cheated on some shit, embezzled some money. And even they're like, ooh, get the fuck away from me. You harm children.
It's being reported.
They're better than the fake-ass influencers. The people that are currently in this prison right now are better than all the fake-ass MAGA influencers.
For her to have access to a computer or the warden, again, is unheard of. Inmates and even attorneys during legal visits don't have access to the internet. They can bring computers in, but they're strictly to review files on a hard drive. So, yet alone the comment that the warden brought in catered meal or food during a visit. Warden has a responsibility to oversee 650 inmates and staff and the facility. To pay that much attention to one inmate, highly unusual.
Highly unusual, and we do have leaked emails now, as you know, Sam, that show Maxwell claiming that the warden is helping her with her commutation request of Trump. The Miami Herald reports that she wrote to her attorney, quote, "We'll send you stuff through the warden I'm struggling to keep it all together as it is big and there are so many attachments. And then according to NBC News, in an email shortly after she arrived at the prison, she described the warden as, quote, a true professional and the best representative of the BOP I have met. Now, the DOJ, which oversees the BOP, has not responded to our requests to any comment on the special treatment she's receiving or these claims about the warden. But, Sam, can you just put some context on this? How unusual would it be for a warden who had never met her until, right, no knowledge of this person whatsoever or of their behavior, to be almost immediately, directly helping an inmate with a commutation request of the President of the United States?
100% unheard of. First, the email system, you can't send attachments. It's a closed-loop email system that only permits a typed document or typed email, no attachments or pictures. I spoke to another client that recently got out of Bryan, and she said this warden, when she came in, was phenomenal. She was one of the best wardens they had. However, the warden was very professional, and her interaction was one of, you're the inmate, I'm the warden, you have your responsibilities, I have mine. We draw a very clear line.
And now she's helping her type up her commutation, getting it copied and printed, or whatever that allegedly, whatever they were saying that she was doing there. In the last show that we did, we went over the emails where she was saying, Ghislaine Maxwell was saying how happy she was, how much better her life was, how she felt so much more safe, how when she needed help with her commutation, that she wasn't able to get the files downloaded or copied or whatever it was, that literally the warden helped her get that done. That's insanity. Insanity.
It is 100% not just atypical for an inmate to have any interaction with staff, yet alone a warden, not only because of the feelings that it creates amongst other inmates, that they're the police, you stay away from them at all costs, but to interact with the warden at that level and having a warden do that type of favor for you, 100% not just unusual, but unheard of.
Yeah, unheard of is definitely the word for it. And we got another one right here that we're going to get to in a minute, because this is about the new Epstein emails, but we're going to talk about that in a second. It shouldn't be this difficult, like I said. And all these people out there that are like, no, I'm not supporting Ghislaine, I'm supporting Trump. Nah, you supporting Ghislaine by supporting Trump. Like, you can do whatever mental gymnastics that you want to do. You can do those gold level mental gymnastics that MAGA is known for, to say that by voting for Trump that you're not actually protecting pedos, but you are. You are. 100% you are. If you're out there talking about pro alt-right, pro MAGA bullshit, you are in full support of Trump protecting not just American elites, but global elites that are in those files. So yeah, you are literally supporting a person that either protects people that harm children or might be doing it his damn self. Also, y'all need to get your hard drive checked. That's all I'm saying. When that FBI's blue, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So, let's see. What was next? So, now we get to these, we're going to get to the stuff that happened today now. I just wanted to go over that because I didn't want to forget. I don't want to get caught up in all this other stuff that's coming out right now and forget about those other things. Because those were things that happened earlier in this week that was coming out with Jamie Raskin talking about her attempting to get the commutation from Trump. And we all know how Trump handles commutations and pardons. I didn't know her. People said it was all a Democrat. Bullshit. She was prosecuted because she liked Donald Trump. That's how they do their thing. So it won't surprise me. And it won't surprise me when MAGA doesn't even blink when Ghislaine Maxwell does end up getting her sentence commuted. So, don't hold your breath that there's going to be some kind of pushback against Donald Trump for this. So today, of course, we're seeing all kinds of stuff about the Epstein emails that have been released by the Democrats, that were released before Grijalva was sworn in, before the government shutdown was voted to be ended. So all of that stuff happened, and I want to cover the different emails here that did come out that seem to be implicating that Donald Trump knew Jeffrey Epstein just as well as we all knew. And like I said, this isn't for specifically just for the people out there, because I know that all of you guys already believe this. This is for posterity's sake. It's to put it out there for people to find it that maybe are independent voters, people that aren't into politics, people that don't know enough about the Jeffrey Epstein thing to even know what it is. This is because, as I said before, we're never going to stop covering this shit until these survivors actually get some type of justice. Because unlike all these other fake ass influencers that are claiming that they put dudes in the wood chipper for this kind of shit, I actually want to see these people get some type of justice for what happened to them. I don't make money off of YouTube. I got a real job.
This morning, the bombshell release of what House Democrats say are emails to and from deceased convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, several referring to President Donald Trump by name. In an April 2011 email released by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, lawmakers say Epstein wrote to his now convicted accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, 3 years after pleading guilty to sex crimes involving a minor, telling her, "I want you to realize that dog that hasn't barked is Trump." Unnamed victims spent.
So really important what he said there. This is 3 years after the conviction, and he's saying the dog that hasn't barked yet is Trump. Also really important to remember here, because all this shit is hard to keep all in the same place, right? Is that Ghislaine Maxwell also claimed that she wasn't really affiliated with Jeffrey Epstein. She barely knew him. She was just business partners with him. She definitely did not say at one point or another that she might get inseminated by Jeffrey Epstein. Watch my video on that.
Hours at my house with him, he has never once been mentioned. According to the released emails, Maxwell responds, "I have been thinking about that." But this summer, in a recorded interview with the Department of Justice, Maxwell told Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, the president's former lawyer, she never witnessed Trump act inappropriately.
I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects.
Yeah, this is a woman that dated Jeffrey Epstein. So, first of all, other than the fact that she's obviously trying to get her sentence commuted, because she's got, another 12 years of prison that she should be doing. So, not only is she getting a commutation out of this, quid pro quo, 100%, but also, even if she wasn't getting that, this is a woman whose idea of a significant other, a good dude, a person that she spent a huge amount of time with, was Jeffrey Epstein. Even if we take away the fact that she might get her sentence commuted. And like I said, don't forget, she also, in that interview, cleared Bill Clinton, said that Bill Clinton was her friend, not Trump's friend, or Epstein's friend, and that rarely did Epstein actually hang out with Bill Clinton. She mostly hung out with Bill Clinton on her own. Don't forget that shit.
Shortly after that interview, Maxwell was moved to a minimum security prison camp, prompting criticism she received special treatment. Committee Democrats also releasing this January 2019 email, where Epstein corresponds with author Michael Wolff less than 6 months before the financier would be charged again, this time with sex trafficking of minors. Discussing President Trump's repeated claim he kicked Epstein out of his Palm Beach club, Epstein writing, "Trump said he asked me to resign, never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop."
I mean, do you need more than that? Do you need more than that? Crazy.
In this morning, author Michael Wolff telling ABC News the emails were an attempt to get Epstein.
And Michael Wolff's ass is not looking real good right now either. I think all of these people have been putting out information on each other in an attempt to distance themselves as far away from Epstein. And look, I don't give two shits. Whoever it is, Whoever tried to cover up for him. I told you guys when they had that PR firm that did the 3 apologies for Epstein. We did a video on that. Go check that out. There's the 3 apologies of Epstein that were written for him. Fuck that PR firm. You want to talk about some shit people should actually get canceled over? You should get your ass canceled for writing the 3 apologies for Jeffrey Epstein.
Epstein to talk about his relationship with Trump, and that Epstein always maintained that he was never a member of Mar-a-Lago. Trump never kicked him out, and Epstein insisted the basis of their falling out was instead over a real estate deal.
Which we all have gone into that as well.
President Trump has denied any knowledge of Epstein's alleged crimes.
It's a hoax. It's started by Democrats.
After Epstein's arrest,
It's a hoax, guys. It's the most elaborate hoax that has ever existed. One that has spanned decades.
in 2019, Trump said he hadn't spoken with him in 15 years. And earlier this year, Trump claimed the reason he banned his one-time friend from Mar-a-Lago in the mid-2000s was because Epstein stole Trump's club staff, including young women.
He took people, and because he took people, I said, don't do it anymore. You know, they work for me. And he took, beyond that.
Definitely sounds like a guy he doesn't know. The guy that stole his employee and they talked to and said, hey, don't do that anymore. He definitely didn't know that guy.
Took some others. And once he did that, that was the end of him. I didn't like, when they steal people, I don't like it.
And no response yet from the
He's like, everything else he did, not really that concerning for me, but taking my employees, that's where I draw the line.
White House on the release of these emails. Meantime, right up here on Capitol Hill, in just hours, Speaker Mike Johnson will swear in Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva. The speaker has prevented her from 7.
And of course, she's now been sworn in, and they've already voted, and we discussed that needs to go to the floor, and eventually it's going to go to the Senate, where John Thune most likely will not pass it for a vote, okay? And even if it does go to the Senate floor and it does pass the vote, because they do believe that there's a bunch of Republican senators that are now saying that they're going to jump ship and vote for it to pass, it's still, I believe it goes to either Trump or his DOJ. I can't remember which one it goes to, but it's not getting signed off there. Those Epstein files will only see the light of day if in 2026 Democrats take the House and the Senate and they impeach Donald Trump and they start going into investigations on Vance and the rest of these motherfuckers, and we get them removed, and then maybe we'll see the Epstein files. But like I said before, I'm not sitting here saying it's just Republicans in there. There are powerful people across the board. It just happens that there's one very powerful person right now, the President of the United States, who seems really fucking 10 toes down on making sure that those files don't come out. And that's pretty suspicious.
Weeks now from taking her seat, she says one of her first orders of business will be signing that petition, providing the last signature it needs to force a vote on the House.
And that has happened, like I said. And so there's that one. And then there was actually one other email here that I wanted to talk about that CNN actually started talking about too. Still people like Felon 47 own them. Yeah, exactly. Big Steph fan. Steph. You know by the way a person talks, like generally when they talk in this way of casually using words like that, that's what they believe. Like I said, the fact that he doesn't care about the other things the dude does, but when it comes to him losing an employee to him, he's super upset about that. Like that should tell you all you need to know. But MAGA they're not that intelligent. What's happening, Steph? What's happening, Merton? What's up, Redonk? Poaching employees is a thing. Yeah, I don't. That's a whole different story. What's happening, Bandit? What's going on, Bandit? Not sure exactly why someone would want to steal an employee. Doesn't exactly have a good track record for hiring dependable people. That's actually a solid question, Merton. Wolf needs some investigated too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Pinkerbell. I have a dog in the fight. Well, I guess I do. I do have a dog in the fight. The dog that I have in this fight are the survivors. That's who I want to see win. I want to see the survivors win, and I don't care, man, what the political affiliation, whether or not they're celebrities, whether or not they're authors. Look, I could have books on my shelf right now from one of these dudes, okay? And I don't give a shit. put their ass on trial, give them their day in court. I'm not asking for people to be iced up off the street by dudes in masks and deported with no due process. That's not me. I'm saying, like, you should have to go to court, provide evidence that you are innocent. The prosecution should be allowed to bring forth the totality of evidence against you. And regardless of whether you are the lowest of the low or the highest of the high, president of the United States, former president of the United States, whatever, like, you should have a day in court. And if you are proven guilty, those victims should get justice. So let's watch this other video. There's one more on here. And then we got I want to take a look at this other account on X that's been sharing a ton of emails and like singling out ones that people aren't covering right now.
The Mar-a-Lago Club. Now, there's also a third email in here, John, and this is, again, in regards to Jeffrey Epstein and Michael Wolff. And Michael Wolff emails Jeffrey Epstein, and this is back in December 15th, 2015, so the height of the 2016 campaign, just to put that in perspective for you. And it was the day of a CNN Republican primary debate. And Michael Wolff says, quote, "I hear that CNN is planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you, either on air or in a scrum afterwards." And Epstein wrote, "If we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be?" Michael Wolff responded at length, John. I'll summarize it, but he said in regards to Trump, "I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the House, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you, or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him generating a debt." Now, I'll note, John, we looked at the transcript of that CNN debate from December 2015. There's no mention of Jeffrey Epstein in there. And of course, as I mentioned, Donald Trump himself is not a party to these emails. But what this shows is Jeffrey Epstein mentioning Donald Trump by name multiple times at a moment here in Washington when their relationship has come under incredibly intense scrutiny, John.
And also, then, like I said, Michael Wolff's ass too. I don't care. Like I said, I feel like these people were tossing evidence out on each other, hoping to distract from the fact that they were a part of this stuff. Like, if that's what it is, if that's what Michael Wolff was doing, like I said, nothing's been proven on any one of these people. They deserve their day in court. They deserve the rights to defend themselves that every person does. But you know what? They should 100% be looked into, investigated. And this is what I'm going to say. We did a video because we've covered this shit like every single story that's came out. We've talked about on this stream. We talked about his butler of 18 years that said in the car when Trump won in 2017, prior to him going to prison for the second time, he told his butler that Trump offered him a job in his administration. Once again, is that true? Is that not true? I don't know. But I could believe it. I could believe it because Donald Trump has shown he doesn't care. He pardons the Binance guy that literally was told by his own people that these countries are using the cryptocurrency to traffic human beings and that they shouldn't be allowing them to do this. And the Binance guy said, I'll allow it. He fucking, the guy from Silk Road, he also pardoned him. He pardoned J6ers. One of them just got away with harming children because Trump's pardon covered that shit. Like, it would not surprise me if Donald Trump, like he said, he could shoot a dude on Fifth Avenue and MAGA would still vote for him. It would not surprise me if Donald Trump put Jeffrey Epstein in his administration and MAGA did mental gymnastics on a gold medal level to defend that and say, well, you know, actually, he actually didn't harm those children. Like, I 100% believe that. So before we get to the actual emails too, or actually that's what we'll do. Let's do the emails first. Let's do the emails. We're gonna look at the emails real quick, and then we're gonna look at Trump's response to this. We're gonna look at both. Bring up Bill Gates. Yeah, Bill Gates. I don't give a shit. All of them. Yeah. Like I said, dude, I love Steven Pinker. Steven Pinker's name is mentioned that. Stephen Hawkins, I don't know if he's possible. It was possible. But you can investigate his dead ass too. Fuck you. Like, I don't care. There's too many names to bring up all of them, but fucking, like I said, I got on here and was talking about how much I enjoyed Noam Chomsky's, like, his talks on the economy and the middle class and stuff. And somebody said, Noam Chomsky was implicated as having a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm like, yeah, if there's evidence, put his ass on trial too. Every one of them. If there is evidence. I'm not saying that people didn't exist that potentially just had business relationships with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm sure there were people that he ran into in his life that did not have knowledge of his crimes nor participated in those crimes. And every person has the right to prove their innocence in a court of law. But if there is any evidence that leads to any one of these people having the potential for having done something to these children, they deserve their day in court to prove that they're innocent, but they should be put on trial. Don't care who they are. Gates, fucking Chomsky, Hawking's dead ass, Clinton, Trump, whatever it is, whoever it is, any of these people that have been mentioned in these files deserve to have their ass on there. 100%. It's not about politics. It's about the kids, man. So, like I said, let's look at some of these emails, and then we'll take a look at Trump's response. And you tell me whether or not this is how a person responds to it. So this is Home of the Brave, and they shared a bunch of these Epstein emails that just came out, like this one here. And this is one where he's talking about Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, 3/24/2018, to Landon Thomas Jr. He says, he feels alone and is nuts. I told everyone from day one, evil beyond belief, mad, and most thought I was speaking metaphorically. It's obvious he could crack Stormy Daniels, lies after lies after lies. And this is because Landon Thomas Jr. here had sent this email to Jeffrey Epstein saying, he's scaring the shit out of me now. He could well tank the global economy, which could literally be today. Like, it's the same story, different day, right? Can Barack talk sense to him anymore? I'm going to guess that's not Barack Obama, because Barack Obama never could talk sense to Donald Trump. But whoever that guy is, maybe it's time for you to jump in now. Given how he is throwing caution to the wind in such epic fashion, why wouldn't he take your call? Give it a shot. So he's saying to Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump is losing his shit. Donald Trump is being crazy. He's tanking the economy. This is back in 2018, 2 years after his 2 years into his first presidency. He's saying that Donald Trump will listen to Jeffrey Epstein and take his call in 2018. And Jeffrey Epstein starts saying he's crazy. I told people he was evil. They thought I was speaking metaphorically, and obviously he could crack at any moment. And this is 2018, and it's Stormy Daniels, dude. Stormy Daniels. They're talking about Stormy Daniels in 2018. So there's that one. Then there's, which one was that? I think that's the same one there. Yeah, that's the same one there. Then here's this one. This is a conversation between Jeffrey Epstein and Steve Bannon, where Prince Andrew, he says, Jeffrey Epstein says, Prince Andrew and Trump today, too funny. Recall Prince Andrew's accuser came out of Mar-a-Lago. He's talking about Virginia Giuffre. Steve Bannon said, can't believe nobody is making you the connective tissue. Because if you remember right, Bannon was making a docuseries to rehabilitate Jeffrey Epstein's image after the 2009 conviction. They did not release it. So you can see here, Prince Andrew, the message says, Prince Andrew and Trump today, too funny. Steve Bannon replying to that then says that he can't believe that nobody is making that connection between Epstein, Andrew, and Trump. That's insane. There's another one in here. This is Epstein talking about how dirty Donald Trump is. This is Epstein, August 23rd, 2018. You see, I know how dirty Donald is. My guess is that non-lawyers, New York biz people, have no idea what it means to have your fixer flip. And I believe that's probably him talking about Cohen, right? Because Cohen was Trump's fixer. I think he makes the argument that it was Trump's money, making it not illegal, though he also said he only found out afterwards. And the fact, according to the indictment, was billed as services rendered and grossed up. I'm sure his account has flipped anyways. I did talk in detail to Starr yesterday, Kenneth Starr. We all know who Kenneth Starr is. Re-indictments, how Trump can make a deal with the special counsel, Clinton's trash can. Yes, Starr gave me more. Yuck. So what they're talking about is how dirty Donald Trump was and Michael Cohen flipping on him. This is a Kathy Rumler. Let's see. There's another one here. So here you go. Here's another one. So this is Michael Wolff. This is Michael Wolff talking to Jeffrey Epstein. It says, Jeffrey Epstein said, redacted, which we know who that is, worked at Mar-a-Lago. Trump knew of it and came to my house many times during that period. The testimony of Houseman John Alessi confirmed it. So, prostitution is a state crime. Never before a man in his own house charged with soliciting. In Florida, first offenders are required to take a sex ed class and get pretrial diversion. No criminal record. There is a felony solicitation for the third offense. A grand jury was held and they found me guilty of one count of felony solicitation because there were many girls. Mandatory diversion sentence. A grand jury and surveilled the house. A grand jury usually only for capital murder cases. Dude, the way he writes is insane. It's like hard to read. Pulled my garbage for months and surveilled the house, letting all the girls come and go. Called in the FBI. They did not like the grand jury result and released to the press the raw sewage of police interviews from the girls that came in. Dude, this is insane. She worked at Mar-a-Lago. Trump knew of it and came to my house many times during that period. The testimony of the houseman, John Alessi, confirmed it. He never got a massage. ABC Gossman, a friend of mine. Oh, sorry. He never got a massage. ABC Gossman, a friend of mine, ran into financial difficulty with assisted living homes. His home was listed in $45 million with no takers for months on end. He and I agreed on a price. So he's talking about the fallout around the real estate that he's talking about here. He said he would receive a fee. Trump buys the house at the telephone auction. Only me, Trump, and his friend Pulte, the developer. God, I wish it was wasn't so hard to read this shit. He is a terrible email writer. 3 years later, he sells it to the Russian dude. We've gone over all this shit. So this is what he's saying. He's saying that Trump did not, in fact, and this is before Trump accused him of stealing the Giuffre, right? He's saying that him and Trump had a fallout over the estate. Howard Lutnick, here you go, being Jeffrey Epstein's neighbor here, as Epstein calls out that to Richard Kahn, Trump is going to Lutnick's house on Thursday. Howard Lutnick, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein's neighbor, and Jeffrey Epstein knows about it. Here you go. Here's another one from Epstein about the Mar-a-Lago. Read the BuzzFeed, my airplane logs, and Hawaiian Tropic contest. Have them ask my houseman about Donald almost walking through the door, leaving his nose print on the glass as young women were swimming in the pool, and he was so focused he walked straight into the door. It's an email talking about the fact that Donald Trump walked into a glass door while staring at young women, which we know are children at Epstein's house. We know that there were no young women at Jeffrey Epstein's house. We know how old those young women were. And this is because Thomas Landon had said, now everyone is coming to me thinking I have juicy info on you and Trump because of this. Donald Trump saying, I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. Trump boons from a speakerphone. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it, Jeffrey enjoys his social life, and then this is fucking prophetic. This guy, Thomas Landon Jr., says, that story will never die. Crazy. Crazy. It's insane. Here you go. Here's another one about Jeffrey Epstein talking about Donald Trump. I am a serious man for the good of the nation. Oh, this is Thomas Landon. So this is Thomas Landon sending this to him. I am a serious man for the good of the nation. Why not try to get some of this out there? I would not do it myself, but would pass it on to a political reporter. Plus, look at these lies. And he's talking about some story about Jeffrey Epstein and Trump here. In response to a message left seeking the Trump campaign's comment on this article, on Thursday, Trump's general counsel, Alan Garten, emailed threatening legal action against BuzzFeed News. Mr. Trump's only connection with Mr. Epstein was that Mr. Epstein was one of thousands of people who has visited Mar-a-Lago. That's it. Mr. Trump has never been accused of having any involvement or even having any knowledge of any of Mr. Epstein's conduct by anyone. This is what his lawyer said. Trump doesn't know Epstein. Trump never had anything to do with Epstein. Yet he's just mentioned over and over again in these files, right? As a result, I have no idea what the purpose of your article could possibly be other than to try and intentionally and with actual malice defame my client's name and reputation by mentioning him in the same article as Mr. Epstein. In other words, suggest guilt by association. This is the very definition of irresponsible and reckless journalism, and to publish such a story would be highly unethical even by BuzzFeed standards. So this response is into Jeffrey Epstein in 2015. In 2015 saying, would you like photos of Donald and girls in bikinis in my kitchen? You don't say that none of this shit happened if it's all over the counter, right? Like, if you're Donald Trump, and there are pictures of you with women that are of age in Jeffrey Epstein's kitchen. You say, yeah, I've been to some parties. Yeah, they've taken some pictures of me with women. I like women. I like grown women that are of age. I'm not a bad person. I like women. That's what you would say. What does he say? I never talked. I barely knew him. Barely. This is after he had already said that they were the bestest of friends for 15 years. The story just keeps changing. So, where was the one? There's another one, too, where he talks about... this is a bunch of stuff that's just, like, reposted. There's another one where he says, like, talk to somebody about the Mar-a-Lago mortgage. He says, talk to them about the Mar-a-Lago mortgage. Ask them about he called him the bag man that later worked for Trump. So if you guys find that email, you should check that one out too. And this is how Donald Trump responded to today. These were his True Social posts. These were Donald Trump's True Social posts to rebut all of these new emails coming out. And tell me whether or not you think this is a little bit sus. You tell me whether or not this is a legit reaction for somebody that ran on the Epstein files being released as one of his presidential promises. This is a completely honest and okay reply. Donald Trump, after the emails were released of his connections with Jeffrey Epstein, he said, the Democrats are trying to bring up the Jeffrey Epstein hoax again because they'll do anything at all to deflect on how badly they've done on the shutdown. Jeffrey Epstein hoax. The Jeffrey Epstein hoax. It's not a hoax. Literally, Don Jr. ran, or while his dad was running, tweeted, we need those files. J.D. Vance said, we need those files. Don Trump said, we need those files. It's a Jeffrey Epstein hoax now, guys. It's a Jeffrey Epstein hoax. how badly they've done on the government shutdown and so many other subjects. Only a very bad or stupid Republican would fall into that trap.
I love the poorly educated.
How many times has Donald Trump called his own people dumb at this point? How many times has Donald Trump called his own people dumb? It's kind of insane, to be honest with you. How many times Donald Trump has like legit called Trump supporters and Trump politicians fucking stupid. And they're just like, they have a daddy fetish. They like it. They love getting beat up and abused by Donald Trump. It's insane. I wonder if he's got PP tapes on all these people. He says the Democrats cost our country $1.5 trillion with their recent antics of viciously closing our country, while at the same time putting many at risk, and they should pay a fair price. What does that mean? What does that mean? And they should pay a fair price. What does that mean? There should be no deflections to Epstein or anything else, and any Republicans involved should be focused only on opening up our country and fixing the massive damage caused by Democrats. There's 18,000 likes on this. That's crazy. People are willing to say, yeah, he ran on the Epstein files. Oh, and one of the things, just so you guys know, it's insane. The amount of ads that is on True Social. Look at all this shit. There are so many ads on True Social. And you know what you get ads for all the time on True Social? GLP-1 drugs, guys. You get GLP-1 drugs. Like, there's no connection at all between Donald Trump and that Ozempic deal. There's just GLP-1 ads all over his True Social now. Crazy. Crazy. What's happening, Mama Brooke? Thank you for the $5. I'll bet Dodo, Lauren Bobo, Marge, or needy Nancy Mace will cave payment in crypto. Nope, they didn't. They did. Well, no, because all three of them are House, right? None of them are Senate. Yeah, no, it passed. It's already passed. I mean, I guess it has to. Okay, so wait. The vote itself hasn't happened. You're correct, Mama Rook. You are correct. My bad. The vote itself had not happened yet. The discharge had happened. So now we have 7 days and then 2 days. So they said the actual vote will happen in early December. You could be right still. I don't think so. I think you're wrong. I think the rats are abandoning the ship. That's where I'm at with that one. Me and Mama Brooke going to argue again. But they did sign the discharge. They signed the discharge. So the other one, if we can get past the My Pillow ad, it was Donald Trump saying, in other words, the Democrats are using the Jeffrey Epstein hoax to try and deflect from their massive failures, in particular their most recent one, the shutdown. He summarized his last tweet with a new tweet, just in case,
I love the poorly educated.
Just in case that was too many words for Trump supporters. Donald Trump knows his people so well, guys. Donald Trump knows his people so well. They was like, wait, that might have been too long of a tweet. I need to break that into smaller words. Okay. And let's just also, while we're on the Epstein stuff, because we got other stuff to get to that we got to cover tonight. But while we're still doing this stuff, let's talk about Joe Rogan, guys. Let's talk about Joe Rogan. What is wrong with Joe Rogan's brain, guys? Do you guys agree with me that the next Democratic president that gets into office should fund a study? Like, in the name of national security, right? Maybe they can try some IEEPA shit like Trump did with the tariffs, right? Maybe they claim national security, the whatever the disease that these people have in their brains that is causing this insane cognitive dissonance, right? Whatever, this disassociation from the truth, right? Like, whatever it is. Are you guys with me that would you pay tax dollars to study what is going on with these people's brains? Because I would. I would pay a lot of money, and I would encourage all Trump supporters to donate their brains to science when they die. When I'm not telling them that they should do anything to themselves. I'm saying when you pass away, like on your organ donor card, like you should make like a little note, like maybe wear a bracelet or something, like one of them life alert things with a little message inside of it that says, when I die, please give my brain to science. Because we need to know why you guys, like what happened to you, man? What happened? Did COVID break y'all? Like, was it just like you guys were inside your house just going down every rabbit hole under the sun? Like, just too much time on the internet, too much 4chan, too many memes, too many TikToks? What was it? Because, like, Joe Rogan legit goes back and forth between being like, it seems weird what's going on with the Epstein files. And then he's like, nah, Donald Trump's a good guy. I sat here with him and talked for 3 hours. He didn't pee. It was crazy. Because that's what's important. That's what makes a president, is a guy who can sit here and just like not pee for 3 hours. Joe Rogan, I sit here at least once a week, actually twice a week, for 3 hours without peeing, just so you know. I do drink water and coffee, though. He said that Donald Trump didn't even drink water, which does not beat the case that Donald Trump might be a lizard person. So anyways, here's Joe Rogan talking about the Epstein files.
Here's what I don't get. He's been sitting on the Epstein files this whole time, and every time someone brings it up, suddenly there's some brand new emergency. Putin gets to keep part of Ukraine. Job numbers are fake. Let's investigate Letitia James. Investigate Jack Smith. It's like, dude, just release the files. If your name's not in there, you'd think you'd want everyone to see them, right? But instead, it's constant shiny distractions, while the one thing that matters just stays locked up. Look, man, if you still think he's playing 4D chess, I hate to break it to you, the guy's barely playing checkers. And he's eating the pieces. I mean, come on, how much horse shit before you realize your alpha male's just an 80-year-old dude with early dementia spray tanning his face at 3 a.m. while rage tweeting?
Is this shit AI?
Tweeting about Rosie.
This is AI, right? That's AI, right? That's gotta be AI. There's no way that he like knows all that shit and or says all that shit, and that's not AI. I'm checking it. We're gonna do this.
So here's what I don't get. He's been sitting on the Epstein files
That's
this whole time.
That's gotta be AI. It's gotta be AI. No way. No. Hold on. We're Googling it. We're fact checking, guys. There's no way that's not AI. Wait, what was that last thing you said? Because that's like the most important thing, right? The most important part, where it goes off the rails for me, guys, it's the end.
And every time someone brings it up, suddenly there's some brand new emergency. Putin gets to keep part of Ukraine.
Nope, that's
Job
AI.
numbers are fake. Let's investigate Letitia James. Investigate Jack Smith.
Let's see. Did I call it? The viral video circulating online that appears to show Joe Rogan criticizing Donald Trump over Jeffrey Epstein is an AI-generated fake video. I fucking called it. Ah, man, that's good. I'm getting better at this shit. Look at that. I'm no Joe Rogan, all right? Trump eating paper. Oh, maybe this is different. No. AI fabricated video gained traction, reportedly showing Trump eating papers labeled as the Epstein client list. Wait, that's not it. Maybe I'm not. I'm going that shit's AI. I don't think he's figured it out. I mean, obviously he has called these guys out before. I'm saying that right there, that's got to be, is this CBS News right here? Let's see. CBS News. What is this from?
Welcome back. Joe Rogan, big deal in the Trump.
No.
When we thought Trump was going to come in and a lot of things were going to be resolved, we're going to drain the swamp, we're going to figure everything out. And when you have this one hardcore line in the sand that everybody had been talking about forever, and then they're trying to gaslight you on that.
Nah, I'm going that was AI. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? You guys think that was AI? I think it was AI. I'm going to AI, 100%. Run it through our sponsor, Perplexity, young Jamie. Yeah, I'm going to AI on that one. I don't even have a Jamie. I just have to do this shit myself. You guys like that? Like, I just figure it out on my own. I'm going 100%. Let's try one more thing here. Let's try... I am a professional Googler, okay? MSNBC host Joy Reid did not share a fake video of Joe Rogan as real. Rather, she presented a genuine clip of Rogan on her show to highlight comments he made, which critics of Rogan subsequently debated online, with some falsely claiming the original video shared by Reid was an AI deepfake. I don't trust AI to tell me either. Let's see if Joy Reid... This is it right here. No, this is Joy Reid's video right here. This is from August 15th. This is from August 15th. Wait a minute. Someone tell me this is not AI, is it? Let's read the comments. This is our next area. Look at his mouth. It's AI. That's what Abraham Froman's with me. Tanya Riff. Look at the fucking day and age that we live in right now, guys. These social media pages alter the video for copyright infringement, so they aren't detected by AI. It's not AI, it's A1. It's A1. Linda McMahon told us so. The AI tells us it's not AI. It says that those are real clips. I don't believe it. What do you guys think? I'm going to let you guys decide this one. I don't know. You guys decide. You guys decide. You tell me. Was it AI or was it not AI? All those are bots, Pinkerbell. We can't even trust the comments anymore. Oh, my God. I don't know. We're going to have to... I want you guys to do some more research. Okay, so the jury's out on whether or not Joe Rogan... I mean, that was from August anyways. That was a pretty long time ago. How do we know AG is not AI? There's a complete possibility. You guys know that, right? Shit, I might not know that I'm AI. Okay, let's get a poll. You want to do a poll? Let's do a poll. Is it AI or is it not AI? AI Rogan vid? Yes? No? What do you guys say? All right, I'm going to drink some water and you guys need to vote. Is it AI or is it not AI? And then later when I have more time, I'm going to do some research. I'm going to do my own research, guys. It's spicy, okay? When I get up here and like pop up some of these vids while you guys are just you guys are watching them for the first time with me, shit gets spicy, okay? I don't know. Was it? Was it not? Let's just see it. I already Googled. Redonk. I Googled hard. The jury's out. It said that Joy Reid did not share an AI video in August. I mean, that was like 4 months ago. You'd think by now people would have figured out whether or not it was AI or not, but it doesn't seem as though that's the story. So, all right. This is it. We're going to go. We're closing the poll. We're closing the poll. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, One last chance. Change your vote if you want to. Survey says, chat says 64% yes, no 36%. All right, the people have spoken. It was AI, guys. This is how we do things on this channel. All right. That's how we're a democracy here. Is this person a real person or not a real person? Chat says not a real person. That's how we make this shit happen on this channel. Oh, man. All right. Shit gets spicy. Like I said, when we play the videos for the first time, things do get spicy. All right. Oh, I wanted to show you guys this. Did you guys see this? Did you guys see Trump getting booed at the Commanders game? So I was watching this stuff. I was actually watching this live. It was actually pretty crazy. So it just was like, why is Donald Trump in the news booth with like these guys doing commentary? And it went exactly how I expected it to go. Like they like said to Trump, they're like, do you want to do some commentary? And he's like, sure. And then literally he just like stood there and watched. And then he was like, oh, they're gonna run a play. They probably need to run a play right here. Game's not really going good for them right now. They probably need to run a play. And like the two other dudes are like, yeah, like, yep, definitely. What would be good here, I think, is if they scored a touchdown. Yep, they need to score a touchdown. And probably need to just score a touchdown. That's really important to score a touchdown. And I was like, what the fuck is this? It was genuinely, his commentary was worse than Chris Collinsworth. That's going to be a hot take. I know a lot of people out there that are going to be like, no fucking way, dude. Chris Collinsworth is the worst. Look, I said these words on Monday night while watching the Eagles game, and you guys are going to unsubscribe over this, and I understand that. On Monday night while watching the Eagles run perhaps the worst possible offense of all time against the Green Bay Packers, and that is no knock on the Green Bay Packers. They have a good defense. But Nick Sirianni is a tool. Nick Sirianni should not be the coach. He is the luckiest man alive because he has the most talented team in the NFL, and he can make the dumbest calls of all time and still win football games. When Nick Sirianni went for it on 4th down with 33 seconds left in the game, up by 3 when they could have either kicked a field goal or even punted the fucking ball and made them go another 15 yards, and they decided to throw the football, I looked at my wife and I said, if it was Donald Trump versus Nick Sirianni, I would vote for Donald Trump. All right, and I love you guys, and I will miss you when you guys are gone. I'm sorry for that, but I hate Nick Sirianni. I am so sorry. I guarantee Nick Sirianni also voted for Trump, so that just made the decision even easier for me. So mad. So anyways, I was watching the Commanders game. Donald Trump popped up on my screen. I was like, why can I not watch football without seeing Donald Trump? And this was the reaction. Are you guys ready for this? Are you guys ready for the reaction? Night, Genie. Night, Genie. This is his reaction. Oh, wait, we got to have sound. You got to have sound for this. This is amazing. It's actually kind of loud. I did it again. Boo!
Welcome the 45th and 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth.
They're booing the shit out of him.
Swears in the seats of our United States military.
Dude, the fucking announcer can't, he's not loud enough. The booing is so loud, the announcer is having a hard time being heard. Look at him. Look at him. Now, here's my favorite part. Okay, here's my favorite part of this. Is Donald Trump, I've been saying this for a long time, Donald Trump is Ron Burgundy. You guys know that there's that part where they say Ron Burgundy will read whatever you put on a teleprompter, and they're like, nah, that's not true, right? And you're like, nope. Donald Trump, you can put whatever you want on a teleprompter and Ron Burgundy will read it verbatim. And they get him to say, and go fuck yourself, San Diego. And then he just smiles at the camera. Donald Trump is Ron Burgundy. I swear to fucking God, okay? Listen to what he says right here.
Please raise your right hands.
I and state your name. He read the fucking and state your name. He's supposed to say, Donald Trump. I and state your name. Oh.
Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against both enemies, foreign and domestic. I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me according to regulations.
Dude, why is he taking so long? He's reading like fucking 3 words at a time. Bro, fucking today, Junior. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyways, I wanted to show you guys that because that was that's how my weekend was. I was doing so good. And then, yeah, exactly, mountain bike. Why is he reading 3 at a time? Also, just the fact that they're booing so loudly that you can barely hear his ass is hilarious. Ah, Mama Brooke, yes, I see Trump saying to War Pete after, I think that went great. They love me. I was just saying this. He disassociates from reality, just like his supporters do. Like anybody out there that's like, yeah, that's right. That's right. Now he knows that people are mad at him, that people don't like him. No, he fucking don't. No, he doesn't. Donald Trump went home and was like, did you guys see me on the football? First of all, I was the best commentator on there. They asked me as I was leaving, they said to me with tears in their eyes, they said, Sir, if you could just be a Fox News color commentator, our ratings would be so high, sir. They begged me to stay. They begged me to stay and do more, but I couldn't because I have to save the country from the woke mind virus. You know, I got up there and I said to him, I said, do the Pledge of Allegiance with me. Swear you're fealty because I'm a king. And, you know, people, they cheered. It was wild. They held up one finger. They said, Donald Trump, you are number one. And I understood because I am. I am number one. And they all said it. Everybody in the crowd was showing me that I was number one. They loved me. They loved me. And you know, Don Jr. and the rest of those sycophants, all of them around him are like, yeah, dude, that's exactly what fucking happened, dude. Whatever you say, boss. Yeah, with tears in my eyes. That boo is louder than the one Hogan got. I never watched that one, actually. I should have watched that. I never read or watched that one. They love me like you've never seen before. Oh. All right. Where are we? Where are we? I don't know where we are. Oh yeah, we gotta get to the part. We gotta get to the part where we talk shit about the Democrats because yeah, they done fucked up. We've had our fun. We talked about the Epstein files. We talked about the good stuff. And I think that that's important. I think people, even with this happening, should look at the silver lining of the the forced vote on Epstein and the emails coming out and all those things. I think people should look at this as a silver lining to these 8 feckless Democrats caving and giving in. But you should not forget this. Make yourself a Post-it note. Write down all of these people's names and keep it for the next 4 years, because some of these people are going to be in office till 2030, guys. So they're playing the long game. They're hoping that by 2030, people will have forgotten that they were feckless cowards that gave in when we're literally holding these people finally to a place where they're being accountable for the evil pieces of fucking human garbage that they are. And they gave in, and they just let every single person down. So go ahead and write down these people's 8 names, put that Post-it note on your computer, and I'll see you in 5 or 6 years. But for now, let's let Mike over at the Humanist Report do his part and talk about these 8 feckless, pathetic Democrats who caved to Republicans.
Agreed to a stand. Some people would think that this is a capitulation if you only agreed to a standalone vote.
Need to understand how the Senate works.
Standing up to Donald Trump didn't work. It's been 6 weeks. There's been the Republicans made it clear they weren't going to discuss the health care issue, the Affordable Care Act tax credits, until the shutdown was over.
We have a guaranteed vote by a guaranteed date on a bill that we will.
She's a moron. Let's just say these things out loud, because someone needs to say this shit like as much as possible. She's a moron. We have a guarantee. You don't have a guarantee for shit, lady. Take your hopeful ass somewhere else. Take that shit somewhere where the reality isn't that the person that is currently the president of the United States is subverting Congress to tax Americans, subverting Congress to fucking go to war with Venezuela. Like, please, take that we gotta guarantee bullshit somewhere else. Because there ain't a single person here that's going to say to you, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Independent, Progressive, whatever the fuck you call yourself, that we think that we gotta guarantee. Everybody is going to go ahead and get their subsidies revoked. They're going to increase our premiums. And this lady is full of shit. And she's feckless, she's pathetic, and she's a coward.
Right. A guarantee.
Tax credits until the shutdown was over.
We have a guaranteed vote by a guaranteed date on a bill that we will write. No one in the Senate chamber wants to extend the ACA tax credits more than I do.
This is the beginning to show and fight for Americans across the country. We have an opportunity also to put Republicans.
What? She said we're fighting for them. Are you? Let's just go ahead and let's go over what Democrats have gotten accomplished since the beginning of Trump's second term. I'll start. Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. Sat on their fucking hands. That's all. That's it. They're just like, let this shit worse and worse. And this shit will get so bad that nobody will vote for a Republican in 2026. But we've all seen exactly how that works out just like 9 months ago or even a year ago, when a bunch of motherfuckers that had literally already seen this fucking TV show once voted for Donald Trump again. Nothing. You haven't fought for shit. I will give a ton of credit to the people that have gotten the Epstein emails leaked. Jamie Raskin gets credit. Jasmine Crockett gets credit. Ro Khanna gets credit. MTG gets credit. Thomas Massey gets credit. Rand Paul gets credit. You know who doesn't get credit? 8 feckless ass, pathetic, coward Democrats that said, well, we couldn't do it anymore. We just couldn't do it anymore.
On the record on the ACA, are they committed to doing this?
Those were some of the excuses from the 8 pathetic Democrats who capitulated to Republicans. But according to them, this was actually a win, and we're all just too stupid to comprehend the 4-dimensional game.
Sounds like some normal, moderate establishment shit right there. They're too dumb to understand, guys. They're just we're playing the 5D chess. We definitely did not cave. We definitely are not protecting our own asses because of the fact that we're in purple states, okay? And John Fetterman, John Fetterman, he had a stroke, okay? Look, for as much I want to shit on John Fetterman, and I will, even though he looks like he might be related to me, okay? I'm pretty sure everything went downhill when John Fetterman had that stroke. Can we stop having old-ass people and people that have had strokes and people that are dying literally while still in Congress? How many people in the last 2 years that were Democrats died in office? Riddle me that, Batman. Riddle me that.
Game of chess that they're playing. But if you're mad that they caved, don't you worry, because when funding expires at the end of January, they might not support funding then if Republicans go back on their promise for a vote on the ACA subsidies in
I'm not going to hold my breath on that one.
December.
If the president doesn't agree and Republicans block the extension of ACA subsidies, would you guys be willing to vote again against government funding in January when this funding runs out?
That's certainly an option that I think everybody will consider.
She said it's an option. Bro, you are in the schoolyard with a bunch of bullies and they smell pussy, okay?
P word. P word is female genitalia.
That's what they smell. That's what they smell. Donald Trump is a bully. He ain't gonna sit up there being like, well, you know, they did in fact actually cave and let me have my way, so we gotta give one back to him. He's not doing that. He smells pussy. He knows that you fucking coward-ass, pathetic Democrats just like you caved. You folded like a fucking $2 chair made in China sold at Walmart to a MAGA Republican. And he knows that shit, and he knows you'll do it again. That's certainly an option. No, it's not a fucking option. Don't let my fucking healthcare go up. It barely fucking works in the first place.
Oh, I bet the Republicans are shaking in their boots at that kind of threat. Like, they just beat you in a game of chicken, but I'm sure that they expect you to hold strong the next time that there's a funding showdown, and they expect you to not capitulate like you always do every single time. And I want to be very clear about what these Democrats did. They effectively voted with Republicans to double and triple our healthcare premiums. People are going to die because of this capitulation. Because even if John Thune gives them the vote that he promised in December, which it's not going to happen, but I mean, even if it does happen, there's no guarantee that it's going to pass, which is why the shutdown was so important, because it was your leverage to get Republicans to vote affirmatively to extend the ACA subsidies that are expiring.
Bro, I made the joke last time, and by the way, my my channel is being invaded by groypers now. I called the groypers to the channel. My Nick Fuentes Tucker Carlson video, and groypers aren't smart enough to actually figure out that fucking Nick Fuentes can't run until like 2036, but they're already all up in the channel being like, President 2028. They are trolls, so I mean, maybe they're trolling, but I made the joke last Saturday, like, our government's about to be so fucked because the right is literally being taken over by meme lords. The meme lords have taken control of, they are steering the ship on the other side. And I feel like the only thing we have, like, to combat that is that podcasters on the left are going to have to run for office. And I just saw somebody saying Kyle Kalinske is going to run for president. And I'm like, is this the future of America? Is the future of America going to be meme lords on the right running against podcasters on the left? And when Mike here says something that makes this much goddamn sense, I'm like, I would 1000% vote for Mike over Tim Kaine. I would. I'd vote for Mike in a fucking second. Because good God, at least he would stand on business.
But now they don't have to vote for shit because Democrats gave up their leverage. And to add insult to injury, Republicans didn't even agree to a vote in the House. In fact, here's what Mike Johnson said when he was asked whether or not he would allow a vote in the House if Thune struck a deal with Democrats in the Senate.
No, because we did our job and I'm not part of the negotiation.
He said, no. God damn it. Oh my God.
The House did its job on September 19th. I'm not promising anybody anything. I'm going to let this process play out.
In other words, it's over. They folded. They gave up their...
Bro, how you gonna get punked by Mike Johnson? Damn. Look, when I started this channel, I tried to tell y'all, like, I was like I'm not like really hard left. I would say, like I said, I'm if anything, if you had to put me into a party, and I don't believe in parties, but if you did put me in a party, it'd probably be a Democratic Socialist, and people are like, that's hard left. I'm like, no, it ain't. No, it ain't, actually. If you look at it on a political spectrum, Democratic Socialists like Bernie Sanders are just left of the left, of moderate Democrats, right? And that's kind of where I put myself, right? But every day that the establishment Democrats, that moderate Democrats, take L's from a dude like Mike Johnson is just another point to the hard left that I move. I'm like, actually, you know what? The harder left is actually looking like they might be the only people with the balls to stand up. Like, if you can't stand up to Mike Johnson's mini Stephen Colbert ass looking like fucking Ned Flanders and Stephen Colbert had a love child, okay, if you can't stand up to him, I don't have a lot of hope for you guys when it comes to somebody like Trump. Like, at that point, I'm kind of like, you know what? I think maybe the people on the far left might actually be able to win this one, because it looks like the establishment Democrats are not capable of fighting this fight. They just don't have the spine.
Leverage, and now our healthcare costs are going to go up because of what they did. They fucked us, even though they had momentum after Tuesday's election. Trump literally admitted that the showdown was hurting Republicans more than Democrats, but what did they do? Well, they chose to throw it all away, probably because their donors told them to end the shutdown.
Yep.
And now nobody's going to believe that Republicans are responsible for the shutdown, because the question is, well, okay, why didn't these 8 Democrats just vote 40 days ago to reopen government? Whereas if they held strong and got Republicans to buckle, then it would be, well, why didn't Republicans just vote to extend the ACA subsidies 40 days ago? But that's all out the window.
God.
And if I had to guess, I think that they were already planning to capitulate, but they wanted to wait until after the election so that way their base wouldn't be too pissed off before they cast their votes. But another element to the story that is disgusting is the gaslighting that these Democrats are engaging in. The 8 Democrats who caved, they're not up for election until 2028 or 2030. One of them, I believe, Jeanne Shaheen, is retiring, which is long enough for voters to forget this betrayal. And even though
That's why I said, put a Post-it note. Write a Post-it note, put it on your computer.
Schumer put out videos insisting that he was voting against this funding package. He's the one who gave them the green light behind the scenes, as journalist David Dayen reports. And Jeanne Shaheen confirmed that this was the case in an interview on Fox News.
Did you do this outside leadership, and was there a big push for you not to join the others and break the 60 threshold?
No, we kept leadership informed throughout.
In other words,
Damn. She went on Fox News and just said, nope, Chuck Schumer knew everything that we knew. He was for it. He bought us lunch. He gave us free donuts. Dude, vote all of these motherfuckers out of office. Clean sweep, dog. If your name ain't Jamie Raskin, if your name ain't AOC, if your name ain't Jasmine Crockett or Bernie Sanders, if you did not do something, if you are not Ro Khanna, if you did not do something within these past 10 months that was positive or effective to help this country, your ass should get primaried, voted out. Goodbye. Sayonara, bitch.
Chuck Schumer knew And he's putting on this show to obscure his role in order to avoid blowback because he's responsible. And he already got a lot of shit earlier this year when he caved, so he didn't want the backlash again. So that's why he's like putting on this whole charade and why those 8 Democrats are giving him cover. At best, Chuck Schumer failed to whip votes to stop his caucus from betraying their voters, but at worst, he orchestrated the entire fucking thing. Either way, he's culpable here. And there are reports that there were 10 Democrats who were actually planning to cave, but presumably, this is my speculation, they opted to just have 8.
Yeah, because 2 of them, this is exactly why you see both Republicans and Democrats, when they have just enough votes, like if they need 53 votes for something, right? And you have 55 people, but 2 of them choose to vote with either Democrats or Republicans, the opposite party. The reason that they'll do that is because they're generally in purple states, right? So if they're in a purple state, if they're in Georgia and they're afraid that they'll lose a Senate seat, they'll say to a person that is in a purple county or just in the purple state, they'll say, okay, you can vote with the Democrats here because that will make it look like you're moderate. Thus, you might get votes or you'll get people that won't vote for the other candidate, right? So this is like the insanity and why I hate politics so much is like trying to explain all of these like stupid fucking games that these politicians on both sides end up playing. Obviously, I believe that the right winning out on any of these things is much worse than the left winning out on any of these things, as the right is absolutely fucking insane right now. Literal cult. Regardless, the political games that get played on both sides are abhorrent.
Democrats cave in order to minimize backlash because there are a lot of Democrats in vulnerable seats, so they want the party to not be as hated going into 2026. And while all of this is going on behind the scenes, you have Chuck Schumer out in front disingenuously pretending like he's going to continue to fight and that the fight's going to continue regardless of how things come out. Like, I want to show you this video where he's talking about, oh, well, if this happens, we're going to continue to fight, even though he knew that this was the way that the vote was going to go. Just watch this disingenuous bullshit. It's just so infuriating to me.
However this vote turns out, this fight will and must continue. Democrats must fight because of millions of families will lose health care coverage. We must fight because children who are dying of cancer will not get health care coverage. We must...
Bro, that is like such a sad attempt. My dude, you don't even feel those words. You said you couldn't even summon enough rage when it came to children with cancer. That is so goddamn sad.
Fight because a senior citizen cannot afford to pay $25,000 a year just for health insurance. We must fight to keep millions from financial ruin.
Great job, Chuck. Love the passion there. You can really tell how much he cares. You know, the fact that he had to read what a staffer wrote for him on a piece of paper instead of just speaking from the heart really demonstrates how much he cares about us losing our healthcare, right? Listen, obviously, he doesn't give a shit about us. He doesn't give a shit about Americans who are going to die because they're going to lose their healthcare. And if he did care, he wouldn't have let the 8 Democrats that voted to betray us. And this is like, what, the 1,000th fucking betrayal in the last few years? But at least his donors are going to be satisfied with the outcome, right? We might lose healthcare. People might have their premiums double and triple. People might die if they lose their healthcare, but at least the donors are going to be satisfied, right? Because that's what Chuck Schumer cares about at the end of the day.
And that's not even taking into account all the people globally that have died already because of the allowance of the USAID cuts, while people like Schumer sat on their hands and just said, well, you know, they won, so let's let them destroy the country so that way everybody can see why it was bad for them to pick a Republican. It's like the Democrats oftentimes don't have any foresight as to like what actual like regular people think, right? Like we've talked about this a million times, like how out of touch people like Schumer are. Like AOC, in my opinion, like I like AOC, right? But the reason I like AOC isn't specifically because she's a great politician. It's because she knows how to connect with young people. She knows how to utilize social media. It's because she knows how to connect with middle class people, working class people. And the reason I like that so much from her is because there is this like insanely low amount of ability on the left to reach working class people. And Donald Trump really came into power because of that void. Because he went around shaking hands, kissing babies, being the sociopath that he is. He's capable of doing really nefarious, bad shit, all while shaking your hand and smiling at you. And the left, instead of recognizing that they have this opponent that is, a sociopath, somebody that, like I said, can shake your hand, smile, hug you, and then pick your pocket and walk away without feeling bad about it, instead of recognizing that that's not what working class people see, right? Like, they're like, well, how are you this dumb? How are you this dumb that you don't see that? And it's like, that's not what you need to be what you need to be focused on is just that they do see that. You need to focus on the fact that the working class does look at somebody like Donald Trump and says, that guy represents me. You should not be condescending and saying, fucking, like at the end of the day, well, if that's what they want, that's what they get. I have to live here too. And I'm voting for your fucking party. So you need to figure that shit out. You need to go to somebody like AOC. You need to go to somebody like Jasmine Crockett. You need to ask these people, what is working for you? Why is it working for you? How is it working for you? And if you don't, and you're going to leave people like Chuck Schumer and Shaheen and the rest of these dipshits in charge of your party, then we going to have fucking Trump and then Vance and then like Don Jr. and then like Barron, Nick Fuentes, literally that's going to be our lineup for the next little bit. So get your shit together.
That is all these people care about. But the silver lining is that Chuck Schumer may have just put the final nail in the coffin of his career, because this is the second time in the same year he bent over and spread his ass cheeks for Republicans. And voters are starting to realize that nothing is going to change so long as leadership remains in place. And people are so fucking pissed off that now they're starting to speak out. All 8 of the Democrats are getting ratioed and ripped to shreds on Twitter. And some of their colleagues in the House are also outraged, seeing as how this capitulation reflects poorly on the entire party. Axios reports that everyone is furious, from elected Democrats on the left and center to Democratic adjacent organizations like Move On. Becca Balint of Vermont said it was BS and says people need healthcare, damn it, not some lame promise about a mythical future vote. They continue, people are furious, a centrist House Democrat speaking on the condition of anonymity to share details of internal discussions told Axios. It's an awful deal and a total failure to use leverage for anything real.
Damn, that's a centrist Democrat. That's what I'm saying. Like, y'all are making me feel like I am going hard left here, and I'm not exactly a hard left individual. Like, I am a person that has said on multiple occasions that I do believe that the country is best ran when moderates are at the steering wheel, but that the fringe groups like progressives or libertarians, because I think MAGA itself should just be excised from this country and potentially deported. I'm not going to include them. So I think that libertarians and progressives on the further ends of the spectrum is pushing these two moderate parties to do more, to encourage these moderates to make bigger gains. Like, that's where I stand. And yet I feel like I'm going harder left because it feels like these Democrats like Fetterman and Shaheen and Kane and the rest of these fucks are leaning harder right. I don't think I'm going anywhere. I feel like I'm just staying in the same fucking place. And these guys are going further right. That's how it feels to me.
Another Democrat told Axios there is near universal frustration and that everyone seems to be united that we should be opposed and that this isn't a good deal. So there's near universal condemnation within the party. And just to demonstrate how badly these 8 Democrats fucked up, even Ezra Klein and get this, Matt Iglesias condemned them for caving to Republicans. Do you know how badly Democrats have to screw up to be condemned by Matt Iglesias? To show you what I mean, he tweeted, "I was sympathetic ex ante to the view that Senate Dems were being pushed by an angry base into a tactically unwise course of action. But in fact, it's worked just fine, and both the polling and election results confirm that. Bizarre to give up now for peanuts." Yeah, so needless to say, when the party is even disappointing Matt fucking Iglesias, they're in pretty bad shape. But to say that they're getting peanuts would be too generous, because they're getting jack fucking shit. And I think that The Onion put it best. Democrats sick of being blamed for cowardice on issues they actually just don't care about. Another one, Chuck Schumer helps pull Democrats back from brink of courage. You know things are bad when a satirical news outlet does a better job at accurately portraying the situation than any mainstream outlet could. But here's the thing. There's always going to be a rotating villain in a party that has effectively controlled opposition for all intents and purposes. If it's not Joe Lieberman, then it's Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema. If it's not them, then it's John Fetterman and Jeanne Shaheen. There's always going to be somebody that they present us with as scapegoats, so that way we direct our anger towards them and think about the Democratic Party's numerous failures as individualistic as opposed to systemic, when it is indeed systemic. It is nothing more than political theater, what we're seeing. And this is probably the most explicit example of that I've ever seen. But make no mistake about it. Almost every single Democrat is to blame here. Some more than others, yes, but all of them are to blame, because they are collectively protecting leadership from accountability when they should be throwing them to the fucking wolves. Case in point.
Do you support Chuck Schumer to lead Senate Democrats going forward?
So, Chris, again, we found ourselves in a situation I don't think the Senate has found itself in before.
I will note, Senator, that given...
Wow, that's actually, to be honest with you, though, I'm going to be honest with you, because Mark Kelly usually is a pretty, he's a pretty party loyal guy. That actually was like a pretty good answer from Mark Kelly. I actually thought Mark Kelly was going to be like, look, man, Chuck Schumer's in charge, and, you know, he made the decision that he thought he had to, and those guys made the, like, that's usually the Mark Kelly response. That response was, that was actually a bit of a critical response for Mark Kelly. Is even Mark Kelly like, fuck, I can't defend this shit?
Two opportunities, you did not voice your unequivocal support for Chuck Schumer, but his job, at least for the moment, is not over. If this compromise plan does lead to the government...
I will say, Chuck Schumer and the leadership of the Senate are dealing with an incredible...
Damn! I called it! He finally got to it. He's like, okay, I actually got to say it.
Complex situation.
Now, if you look online, people are reacting to that clip positively, and they're viewing Mark Kelly's refusal to endorse Schumer's leadership as significant. But personally, I regard it...
And then Mike just calls me out on that shit like 2 minutes later.
as cowardice and spinelessness. Because he is not saying what he should be explicitly saying, but he's not alone, because...
Yeah, I agree with him. He should just be straight up fucking saying, these people bowed, they buckled, Chuck Schumer's leadership was dog shit. Let's be real, man. Like, you can't talk about this with soft language. You can't, like, beat around the bush about this. You need to just say what they did. They are feckless cowards.
Even Bernie Sanders, like others, are blaming the 8 Democrats, which they should do, of course, but he's not naming Chuck Schumer or calling out leadership's failures altogether that got us to this point. And even though Hakeem Jeffries kept his caucus together, he's still defending Chuck Schumer and agreed that he's an effective leader that should keep his job. And even though that's objectively untrue, Hakeem Jeffries knows that he needs to defend Chuck Schumer, because if Schumer falls, then he knows he's next. But nothing is going to ever change if leadership remains in place. But the dam is actually starting to crack, because Ro Khanna, to my knowledge, became the first sitting Democrat to explicitly call on...
Holy shit, Ro Khanna? That's crazy, because you know what? When I first started doing this a couple years ago, everybody was really high on Ro Khanna. And I was like, oh yeah, he seems like a pretty good dude. And then I forgot what it was. I think it was when Trump first got elected. Ro Khanna was kind of doing... I think it was also some of the Palestine stuff too. Like, I was like, he's not going that hard for the things that he believes. It seems like he's just kind of saying, like, hey, these things are kind of bad, but yeah, it's not that big a deal. Like, like we're doing the best that we can. I felt like Ro Khanna was a little less impressive than I thought that a lot of other people thought he was when I first came into this. And that, between this and the Epstein files, I might have been wrong.
On Schumer to be replaced. Mark Pocan essentially did the same thing while not naming Schumer explicitly. So Democrats are starting to dip their toes in the water to see how calling on leadership to resign feels. But it's our job to
imagine holding people accountable,
to kick their asses in the fucking water and force them to call out leadership and put pressure on them to resign. See, if we pressure Schumer himself to resign, that's not going to work because he doesn't care what we think. He's proved time and time again that he's not going to heed our calls for him to resign. The last time he buckled, he was going on a book tour as if everything was copacetic after he just fucked us over. He doesn't care. So that's why I'm asking all of you who have Democratic senators to call on them and politely demand that they ask Chuck Schumer to resign. If you have one of the 8 Democrats who betrayed us, then call on them and let them know that they disappointed you. But if you have a different Democratic Party senator who didn't betray you but hasn't called on Chuck Schumer to resign, which is all of them, I'm going to put a link under the like button to a directory that'll give you the phone numbers of your U.S. senators. My senators are Ron Wyden and Jeff Merkley, and I'm going to call them to initiate what I'm calling Operation Oust Schumer, because we cannot let this stand. If there is no accountability for what just happened, then nothing is ever going to change. And it's not like getting rid of leadership is going to solve all of the Democratic Party's problems, but accountability is the first step to actually course correcting.
Yeah, accountability, and also they just need new blood, man. This Democratic Party was not ready for this fight. Like Joe Biden in 2020, elected 2021, took office, saved their ass, but it kind of did something worse, right? Because it made them feel like, no, we don't have to course correct. When they lost with Trump in 2016, there was a moment for them where kind of their life flashed before their eyes, right? Like, oh, we're not going to recapture the Obama magic. And then in 2021, when Biden won, which he won for the most part because people were so upset with what Trump had done for his 4 years, which we're just seeing a repeat of on steroids this time. What that concerns me is that I think that they look at this and they go, well, the same thing's going to happen, right? Like, we don't need to change over leadership. We don't need to have new blood. We don't need new ideas. We're just going to do the same thing we did with Biden. We just wait it out. Trump's going to destroy the fucking country in the interim. And then in 2028, we'll win by a landslide because people are going to be so over this. And people are over this. That's the one thing, is that people are over this. His polling numbers are in the toilet. It's horrible. We went over that video of his polling numbers in every group except for white dudes. And even I think white dudes are lower now. White young men, it's way down. It concerns me because really at the end of the day, what needs to happen here is, at least in my personal opinion, is America as a whole needs to lean into the democratic socialist framework of things that have worked. FDR, Teddy, the greatest this country has ever been, the greatest the middle class has ever been, the largest the middle class has ever been, was because of the New Deal, a socialist policy. If it wasn't for that time in America, we wouldn't have any of the shit that we have today. And we need to get back to those principles, specifically as the left goes. I mean, obviously Franklin Roosevelt had 4 terms, three and a quarter, with Truman finishing out his 4th. And then Truman had another one after that. You had a solid 20 plus years of Democratic rule. And even when Eisenhower took office after Truman, Eisenhower continued to tax the Republicans and the rich that didn't want him to tax them because he knew that the New Deal was working. He continued to expand on New Deal policies because he knew they were working. Eisenhower might not have been my favorite fucking president, but he definitely did do things that were working because he knew that what was happening was working. If Democrats sit on their hands and allow people like Chuck Schumer to continue to coast through this and just let working class people suffer through this, You have no idea what's going to happen in 2028 because right now people have zero confidence in the Democratic Party leadership, and people have zero confidence in Republicans as a whole because there are no Republicans. They're shattered. It's just MAGA. You have no idea what's going to happen in 2028.
So the first one I'm going to call on camera is Ron Wyden. His number is 202-224-5242. And please do not call my senators, call your senators, because we need all of them to know that we are done with leadership. This was the final straw.
Welcome to Verizon Wireless. Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again.
Oh,
Announcement
no.
for Welcome to Verizon Wireless. Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and
They
dial
disconnected
again.
it?
Okay, let me try Merkley. I don't know why it's not going through. I'll get another number for Wyden in a second.
I wonder if they disconnected those numbers. Oh, here we go. Dude, they're not answering shit.
Senator Merkley's office, how can I help you?
Hi, this is a constituent of Senator Merkley. I just wanted to call and request that he become the first senator to call on Chuck Schumer to resign.
I've got a little note of that now. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, while I'm at it, if he could sign on to Senator Chris Van Hollen's legislation to do an arms embargo on the UAE for funding the RSF, which is committing genocide in Sudan, that would also be really great as well.
Okay, I'll make a note of that one.
Thank you.
And thank you for calling in today.
Yeah, thank you so much. And please tell the senator that I'm pleased that he's one of the best senators in the country. But I think that it would be awesome if he got the ball rolling on getting rid of leadership that is just not getting it done, to put it mildly.
I hear you. I'll get that logged down and pass it off to the senator. But thanks for calling in, and I hope you have a good day.
You too. Thank you so much.
He's at Ron Wyden. That's the guy who is pushing for all of the transactions that happened before and after Epstein's death in 2019 to be released, his Republican partner. So during Joe Biden's administration, I believe it was Wyden and a Republican. I can't remember which Republican it was, but they were both going through the Secretary of the Treasury to get all the bank statements on transfers from Epstein to these huge banks, the covering up of JP Morgan, of Epstein's finances, and their continued, his continued use of their services. So if that's what it is, that's dope. That's dope. Oh, thank you for the $5. Fantradeath. Look, we got Fantradeath, we got Tired, we got Woke. Look at all of you guys. Look at you guys. You're all here tonight. That'd be amazing if we could get rid of Jeffries too. But that's not going to happen. They better run a candidate I like in 2028 or I won't vote. I voted Hillary, Biden, Kamala, and this is what they did to repay my loyalty. I can't get with that, fan. Sorry. I understand people's... Obviously, I understand you guys' irritation. You guys have been watching me for a long time. I have to explain to you guys that I understand your irritation. But I could not, having a young daughter and a young son and having many friends that have children, I could not in good conscience allow the same thing that happened with Kamala Harris to happen again. Like I've spoken out many times that I think that people that chose not to vote for Kamala made a mistake. I do not hold them in any type of resentfulness, as I don't think that that's helpful. But I do believe that it was a mistake not to vote for Kamala Harris. For people that didn't, I do believe that anybody that thinks that, they made some point that is in any way going to lead to anything positive, I don't think that that's true. Maybe I'll be wrong in the long run, but I don't believe that that's true. So I disagree with that statement in the way that there's absolutely no way that I would not vote against whoever is running against a J.D. Vance or a Donald Trump third term. That's the only thing I say. But once again, as always, I always respect your guys' opinions, even when I disagree with them.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to call Ron Wyden's Portland office.
No, that wasn't Wyden. He's calling Wyden. He called the other one. I forgot what he said his name was. You just search Wyden. He has 5 kids and his wife is hot. Good job, Mama Brooke. I'm going to have to look that up later.
9 times out of 10, you're probably going to get an answering machine. But, sometimes you get to talk to a person and just be polite because they're not responsible. They work for shitty, corrupt senators. So be polite, but,
Well, and I think he's also calling Wyden, and I don't think that Wyden is a corrupt person. I think that Wyden is working to help get things with the Epstein files released, and that's a point in the positive category for me.
Don't be afraid to tell them how you feel.
Hello, you've reached the Portland office for Senator Ron Wyden. If you'd like to leave a comment,
that's
for
an
the
answering
senator,
machine.
please do so at the tone and include your zip code. If you're seeking assistance, please leave a detailed message including your name, your phone number, and your email. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. We appreciate your patience, and we look forward to speaking to you soon. Thank you.
Hi, Senator Ron Wyden. I am Mike Figueredo, a constituent of yours from Portland. And first of all, I want to thank you for not caving like the other 8 Democrats, but I wanted to call on you to request that Chuck Schumer resign. I was hoping that you would make this a public announcement because we need to get the ball rolling on new leadership, because if we don't, I don't think anything is going to change, and we are going to continue to get rolled by Republicans. And now that I have you, I would also like for you to stop sending weapons to Israel, who is committing a genocide on the Palestinian people, and stop taking AIPAC money in 2025. There's no reason why you should be still supporting them. On top of that, support Medicare for all, because if we had a universal single-payer healthcare system that was free at the point of service, we wouldn't be in this predicament in the first place. And you've never supported Medicare for all. And if you don't actually start changing for the better, I might have to think seriously about voting for a primary opponent next time you're up for election. So let's get the ball rolling. Let's get Schumer out. Otherwise, nothing is going to change. Thank you so much for your consideration. All right.
That was very well done and very well said. You see, I like that because Mike's a very passionate person, and he did a very good job of keeping it level. As obviously, when speaking to these people that, like I said, have fundamental values, that does not mean that everything that they believe are the same as you is what you believe, but they have the same fundamental values as you. That the encouragement is necessary through constituents that these people become more in line with the more fringe values that we have, that or the more fundamental to us but less fundamental to them, more fringe for them values that they have. And the only way to do that is to communicate clearly to them that if they do not, that you will primary them. That is, like, I didn't know that about Wyden, so I think that that's, once again, a little bit of a educational moment for me on a senator that is not from my state. But the fact that he has not voted once for Medicare for all, that's insane. And obviously, he's his funding of potential genocides in other countries is also not really acceptable to Mike. So that's good. I'm glad that he spoke as clearly as he did, and he communicated it well, and also made sure to apply pressure by saying that he will primary him.
So you know what to do. Call your senators and let them know that this is not okay. They must request that Senator Schumer resign. This is Operation Oust Chuck Schumer, and it starts with us. He's not going to go down if we call his office. But, if you call your senator and let them know you're not happy, then that's how maybe we give them a nudge in the right direction. So make those calls.
Good job, Mike. Mike always does a good job, though. And, I'll point this out. Once again, you're never going to find me and Mike agreeing on every single thing. Like I said, I'm not a very hard left individual. I'm more of a just left of the left, right? Just left of the moderate left. So as somebody said earlier, in a European country, I'd probably be center left. Whereas here in America, I think that when I took the political test, it was I was a socially libertarian, just left of the left on policy. So like socially I'm libertarian. In other words, I don't care what you do. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're trans. I don't care if you're a minority. I don't care if you're a man, woman, non-binary. None of those things are things that I find that are any of my business at all. I think every one of those things, every one of those people should get the same rights. I think if you're religious or you're non-religious, you should have the same rights. I think that every single person should be treated equally and given the same opportunities. I don't care who you have sex with. I don't care if you wear a costume while you do it. Like, do I think furry stuff is a little bit weird? Yeah, it's not really my style. I don't do that. But do I care that other people do? No, because there's also people out there that think toes are sexy, and I don't suck toes. Okay, so also I'm not trying to have people that suck toes have their rights taken away either. So I don't care if you're furry. I don't care if you're gay, and I don't care if you suck toes. You still deserve rights, and you still deserve health care, and you still deserve a living wage, and you still deserve to not be replaced by AI when there's no framework for something like UBI out there. Those are the things that I believe, and I think that if me and Mike were to have a conversation, I think that we might disagree on some details, context, nuance, but I doubt that we would disagree on the fundamental values that we believe every single person should have. Now, there's plenty of people, okay, guys, that have been speaking out. And this is important because there's a lot of opportunity for people right now. I keep saying this over and over again, and I'm never going to stop saying it until the wheels fall off, right? Is that right now we have a golden opportunity because we are exiting this age of information and we're entering an age of understanding. AI has taken away the age of information and the way that it's made all this information accessible, but now people that only understand nuance, context, how to take one subject, link it to another, how to find supporting information, how to use analysis, things like that. Those are all becoming really important. So the internet has provided the ability for average everyday Americans like myself to be able to stream and to have their voices heard. And also people like Kyle Kalinske, like Mike Figueroa, like many people out there. And we saw with Mamdani winning in New York in the mayoral race that he went up against people that had a lot of money. Cuomo was being supported by multiple different billionaires, including Republican ones, right? And yet somehow he won that. And the reason that he won that is because he was in touch with people and he used alternative media and social media to be able to reach those people. So I will continue to say this, is that we have a golden opportunity to use our voices at a time where it's going to become obsolete soon, right? Because AI is going to replace things. People are going to, become less and less understanding of what is fact, what is real. But right now, this is our opportunity to influence the future of America, and we have to take advantage of this window. So this is my favorite way to do it, as you guys all know, okay? This is my favorite way of doing it, and that is by talking a bunch of shit, because that's my wheelhouse. So 18 tweets that sum up how upset people are with the Democrats who sided with Republicans on a government shutdown deal. So obviously, just like we watched that video, the 8 Democrats are feckless cowards, pathetic ass politicians that caved in to the Republicans. People let them know. People let them know how they felt about them giving in. So Ashley Reese here says, I was convinced the Republicans would cave by the holidays. By the time this snap stuff started, Trump, and by the relation, the Republicans truly became the face of this shutdown. And then those fucking Dems had to go and do this shit. Feckless losers with weak leadership. They ain't a single part about that I don't agree with. They had it. They were literally like Trump was squirming. Republicans were squirming. And these fucking feckless Democrats caved. Like I said, like a $2 lawn chair made in China sold at Walmart to a MAGA Republican. Just folded so hard. John Bowser said, a Democratic cave now after Tuesday's clean sweep is about the dumbest thing I can imagine. I wish I could actually agree with that one. I can't. Because right now, this timeline is the dumbest timeline of all times. I can actually imagine dumber shit happening. I think I even said I was pretty surprised that Democrats held out as long as they did. I did not expect there to be any fight in the Democrats. I actually did not think that they would fight it at all. I thought they would just roll right over and just let, Donald Trump pee on him and make a videotape out of it so he could blackmail him with it later, just like he did to Kash Patel, allegedly. Jack Cochirilla says, what the fuck are you saying? This is the fight. Fight this fight. Because Schumer said, however this vote turns out, this fight will and must continue. Democrats must fight. Yeah, this is the fight. Like, that's like being in the fucking, in a fist fight with a person and thinking to yourself, if I don't win this fight, there's always more fights to be fought. As you're being just like unloaded on. Like even worse, you're not even being unloaded on, because to be honest, the Democrats were winning this fight. So it's like having your opponent in a fight, like you're just dropping bombs on dude. You've busted his eyebrow open. He's got 2 cracked ribs, and you've leg kicked him like 87 times. Like the dude's got no wheels. He's got no ability to fight back. And you're like, if I give up right now, though, like there's always other fights. And you're like, you know what? Fuck it. And you just take one right to the chin and just get dropped right there. You're like, yeah, I'm okay with that. Actually, I'm okay with that. It was ridiculous. Polling USA said, in the face of crushing healthcare costs and rising fascism, 8 brave Democrats have decided to completely fucking cave. That's spot on. Barbarism Critic said, it's just so weird how every single time Republicans are about to totally self-destruct, Democrats rush in and do something that bails them out. Probably nothing. Does seem sus. Like I said, like this is somewhere where I wish my conspiracy theory friends that went full MAGA and lost their goddamn minds would come back to reality. Because this is something that we agreed on, was that like people that are taking corporate money, people that are taking money from big pharma, people that are, taking money from billionaires and stuff like that. Like, even when I wasn't like the most political about these things, I was like, well, yeah, like I do see how it's sus that those things are happening. Like I think that the further along in this journey that I've gotten into this, 2 years of streaming, I probably say maybe 3 years of really giving a shit about politics in general. Like the further along into this that I've gotten, the more like I've like said, like, hey, there's things that we agree on. It's really just too bad that y'all got so triggered and went so hard into the MAGA cult. Because if you could come back out, remember you guys said like Ozempic, like you guys hated Ozempic. You dude, RFK Jr. just the other day, they asked him whether or not he supported Trump's Ozempic shit. And he was like, I think it's good for Americans. Americans are going to lose about 150 million pounds. And the lady said, oh, so then you support Ozempic and you think it's safe? And he's like, oh, I didn't say that. Because he literally, your boy is trapped in the White House with McDonald's and Ozempic. And literally you guys voted for him because you were like, that's everything he's against. And now all you guys can hang on to is he's getting rid of Red Dye 40, which I'm not even sure that that's happening. Like, if you guys could come back to sanity, we should have some conversations about getting rid of establishment Democrats and getting some people that get universal health care, single payer universal health care. That's what we need. Number 6. Very cool that Dems had all the leverage in the world after Tuesday's elections, and they just decided to completely cave to nearly all the Republicans' demands in exchange for what amounts to be a fucking pinky promise. I added the cursing because it was necessary. Number 7, Winter said, Sanders tells Democratic senators to oppose shutdown deal. Winter said, Bernie Sanders once again having to do the heavy lifting for the Democrats who refuse to be an opposition party. Like I said, like, this is like, if you had asked me in 2016 about Bernie, I would have been like, pipe dreams, dudes, apparently he's a communist. My dumb ass would have been like, I don't know, like, he seems like a nice dude, but I don't think people say his ideas are really bad. I'm 10 years later, I'm like, God damn it, I need a time machine. I need to go back and talk to Trailer Park fucking Angry Ginger and be like, bro, you're fucking up. Not that it would have mattered. That it would have mattered. I would have voted for Bernie, and I'd probably be MAGA now, to be honest with you guys. It's probably good, guys, that I didn't vote for Bernie in 2016, because I think I probably would be one of the Bernie bros that became MAGA. That might have happened. Number 8, Kay says, why are leftists so mean to Democrats? This is why! This is like being in a relationship with two parents that hate each other. I'm like, I just need you guys to get along so that way we can save the country. If I could, I'm not a centrist. I know, like, fucking, like, leftists will come in here and call me centrist because sometimes I agree with Democrats, and then Democrats will come in here and call me a fucking communist because they're like, I agree with the progressives sometimes. But I just feel like I'm like the child that's in here that's like, I can see that dad's an alcoholic and that, like, he definitely needs to clean his shit up. But I also can see that mom sometimes isn't helpful. And right now I'm actually with mom. Mom's the progressive, just so you guys know. Let's see. Number 9, Trump is polling at like 0%. 42 million people are hungry, and every major airport in the country is about to be grounded. But the Democrats are surrendering the easiest layup in modern history and plunging 24 million into abject poverty by gutting the Affordable Care Act. Vote blue no matter who, though, right? Shaking my head. There you go, fan. There's somebody that agrees. Like, I do know, I understand, I get it. I'm like, fucking Schumer's got to go. Hakeem Jeffries, if he's not going to fucking stand up and tell people to close their mouth more often like he did to Lawler, he's got to go. Like, Tim Kaine's got to go. Got to go. Oh, there's my boy Tim Wells. What did Tim Wells have to say? Tim Wells, don't let me down here, Tim. Tim, don't let me down. Tim stole they're weird thing. I was calling MAGA weird for so long, and then Tim Wells stole it from me, and everybody was like, isn't it cool Tim Wells calls MAGA weird? And I was like, I was doing that. It's okay, though. Tim Walz said, after the longest shutdown in history, we are no closer to relief for the millions of Americans facing hikes to their health care bills that they can't afford. This is a deeply disappointing result. Democrats cannot let the Trump administration steamroll Congress into cutting taxes for billionaires at the expense of working people. Very well said, my friend. I'm with Mike, though, from the Humanist Report. I think here Tim Walz needs to call out Chuck Schumer. I think he needs to call out Congress for being feckless. I think he needs to call him out. Tim Walz is a very nice human being, and I got that, but like he needs to go a little harder. Susan Glasser says, so to sum up, Democrats had a strong week at the polls and are ending it by agreeing to a deal that was on offer weeks ago without anything they were demanding. Cue the dim Civil War. You are not wrong, Susan. You're not wrong. Joe Walsh. When former Republicans are then now center-right conservatives come into the chat and say probably the thing that every Democrat needs to say. I'm not even reading tweet. My eyes are closed. I'm just saying that Joe Walsh is probably saying something that fucking Democrats probably should have said themselves. Let's read it. At this point, it's utterly bonkers that any Democrat would trust any Republican to negotiate in good faith. God damn it. God damn it. Oh, how does Joe Walsh understand what the Democrats need to do better than the Democrats understand what the Democrats need to do? Ah, Jesus Christ. Raquel says, wow, Obama's crowning achievement is basically done for, and in part because Democrats couldn't stand their ground. Yeah. The one, like, we inched. We didn't even get what we wanted. We literally got Romney care, okay? We got Romney care because that's the best that we could achieve. We inched towards actually getting health care for all, and, like, these Democrats were like, you know what? We got the bases loaded with no outs, and I think we should just forfeit. You know? Fuck it. Why even try? Let's just give up. Evan Loves Wharf, which is a really cool name, said, sure, the Democrats caved on the shutdown, but at least they got nothing in return. Oh, fuck. At this point, I'm just, like, torturing myself, right? But this is how I am as a human being, just so you guys know. Like, you can't really troll me. You can't, like, I mean, you can get me down, but, like, you can't force me to stop, right? Like, I'm feeling what Evan's saying, you know? I'm just feeling it. All right, Gavin Newsom, save me, Gavin. I'm not going to read it. I'm going to say it, Gavin. I'm going to say it, Gavin's new team of 2 Latinas that are absolute fire with social media posts did a good job. All right, let's see it. Tonight, Senate vote on the federal government shutdown should have been a time for strength. Instead, we saw capitulation and a betrayal of working Americans. The American people need more from their leaders. I'm going to say Gavin Newsom did that one himself. That doesn't have the fire those 2 Latinas had. I'm going to say that's a 6 of 10. I'm going 6 of 10 with that. It's right on with the messaging. It needs to have more fire. Okay, AOC, don't let me down, AOC. AOC, don't let me down. The average monthly SNAP benefit is $177 a person. The average ACA benefit is up to $550 a person. People want us to hold the line for a reason. This is not a matter of appealing to a base. It's about people's lives. Working people want leaders whose word means something. And that's spot on what she said. What Democrats are trying to say is that they're saying, like, people were suffering. You had federal workers out of jobs. You had people that weren't getting SNAP benefits. And those things are true. And like, I always try to see, like, what their argument possibly could be to see if I'm crazy. And to be honest with you, at the end of the day, if a couple months from now, the Affordable Care Act subsidies are continued and Republicans pass a bill to fix these subsidies, I will 100% say on this stream that I was wrong and those 8 Democrats were right, but I just don't see that that's true. And what I would say about that is what AOC is saying here, and that is, it's like saying, well, right now, people don't have $1, so I want to make sure they get their $1 because it sucks for them to not have their $1. But the caveat to that is that by getting that $1, they may lose $3 later, because for healthcare to triple for your the money you're paying into it without subsidies, for it to triple would mean that you are going to lose 3 times the amount of money that you're potentially getting from SNAP, which Trump is already trying to kick you off of. Therefore, losing $1 now is better than losing $3 later. And obviously, not losing any dollars and gaining $4 is obviously what we'd like. And if 2 months from now we get our $4, SNAP benefits are still good, Affordable Care Act subsidies are still going, I will say I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Fantradeath, thank you for the $10. If all the Democrats just stopped paying taxes, we would have the leverage to force them to change. Don't give me that it won't work because Trump gutted the IRS, so they can't handle the workload. Let me finish this, and I'm going to talk about that. Number 17, it really is a mystery why the Democratic Party's approval rating is so low. We may never figure it out. And number 18, the final one. This shit is why people don't trust the Democratic Party. And that's the goddamn truth right there. That just, there's nothing more you can say. That is literally the truth. This is why people don't trust the Democratic Party. Yep. All right. To Fantradesk $10. Do I think that that's a legit plan? Here's my problem with that plan, fan. I know that he gutted the IRS, But every time that Republicans take office, they got the IRS, but they still go after average everyday taxpayers. We actually joked about this, to be honest, Fan. We joked about this, me and a buddy of mine, saying, like, is this the year to dodge taxes, right? Like, does Trump care even if you dodge taxes? Does he even, like, care if the government just, like, flounders? Like, there's a valid conversation about the fact that it's like, if you didn't pay your taxes for the next 4 years, would Trump's IRS even notice? Like, do they care? Or are they just like, as long as we get ours, we don't care what you guys do? I still rest on that if you don't pay your taxes, you will be the person that they come for. Like, that's still my opinion on that. Is even with the IRS being cut, the reason that Democrats fund the IRS when they go into power is because the IRS is one of the only portions of the government that actually generates a profit, and generally it generates a profit when Democrats are in power because they go after billionaires. So I believe it's like they make 70 cents for every dollar they spend going after people that make less than like $100K. But for people that are like ultra wealthy, that are millionaires, that make more than like $250,000 a year or more, I think I can't remember the exact numbers on this, but it's something like they make $7 for every $1 they spend going after the highest tax bracket. So obviously when Democrats are in power, you get an IRS that generates profit through going after people that are billionaires. And when you have people like that, Republicans are in office, generally the only people that they go after are everyday working class citizens, because they're paid by tech oligarchs to not go after them. So I do not think that would work, but I mean every plan's on the table, right? Every plan's on the table at this point. Let's see. We're actually making it through most of our videos here. So one thing I will say about this, and I don't know how many people are talking about this. How many of you guys know that actually what they did was they put in this bill, in this funding bill, an ability for certain Republicans, I think it's like 8 Republicans. Maybe that was the deal. Was it 8 Democrats for 8 Republicans? I don't know. That just sounds like they came out with 16 on their side, which makes sense with this current Democratic Party. But 8 GOP senators that now are able to sue the Department of Justice, which we know is Trump's Department of Justice, which will just give these people money. Literally, didn't he pay like Ashley Babbitt's family? He's trying to get $230 million from the DOJ. They're literally just pillaging the coffers. They're just pillaging the fucking the country. So House Republicans, even House Republicans, were like, the Democrats shouldn't take this deal. How bad is that? Even the Republicans are like, don't take this deal. It's a bad deal. House Republicans slam self-dealing Senate Republican payday in funding bill. Conservative House Republicans slammed a multi-million-dollar giveaway to 8 GOP senators tucked into legislation ending the government shutdown on Tuesday night, but said they had no choice but to move the bill forward because they know that Daddy Trump would spank that ass. We all know that they have a fetish for that, and they probably enjoy it, but they're also like, they want this. They like this. During a meeting of the House Rules Committee to set up a vote Wednesday that could end the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, Democratic and Republican members of the panel repeatedly bashed the senator payday provision. Rep. Austin Scott of Georgia read parts of the provision from the dais in seeming disbelief that senators would write a bill that so directly rewards themselves. He said, "I personally agree this should be removed. The problem is, if we remove it, it has to go back to the Senate." Scott suggested the provision would make it difficult to vote for the bill. Scott said, "I've struggled with what to do. What they did is wrong," noting it was dropped into the bill at the last minute without any consideration by committees in either chamber of Congress. They put this in at the last minute. Chip Roy agreed, calling the provision self-serving, self-dealing kind of stuff and saying it needs to get fixed as soon as possible. Yeah, it's not going to get fixed, Chip. This shit is going to pass, and these people are going to get rich. But he said that stripping it out of the bill now would only prolong the government shutdown, since the Senate would then have to approve it again before it goes to the president for his signature. The upper chamber already left town on Monday after it passed the bill following a 41-day impasse over health care. Oh, we would hate for them to have to come back and remove this provision that makes them all ultra wealthy. That would be terrible. Let's not call them back to Congress. We don't want to put them out. The fucking politicians, man. The provision, apparently put in at the direction of Senate Majority Leader John Thune, would specifically give members of the U.S. Senate the power to sue the government if their office phone records had been obtained without notification by the Justice Department. It would not apply to members of the House. Dude, the House got fucked. Oh my God. Dude, Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to be so mad. This is like targeted at Marjorie Taylor Greene. The measure, which would be retroactive to 2022, of course, only to 2022 as well, right? Seems designed to benefit Republican senators whose phone records were obtained in 2023 as part of the Justice Department's investigation into President Donald Trump's efforts to overthrow the 2020 presidential election result. Senator Chuck Grassley, who's older than fucking dirt, revealed last month that Senate phone records had been obtained as part of the investigation. The legislation text says, in part, any senator whose Senate data or the Senate data of whose Senate office has been acquired, subpoenaed, searched, accessed, or disclosed in violation of this section may bring a civil action against the United States if the violation was committed by an officer, employee, or agent of the United States or of any federal department or agency. In other words, anybody that did anything to do with phone records during that year, these 8 senators can sue the shit out of them. The 8 senators who would likely to be eligible to file claims are Lindsey Graham, Bill Hagerty, Josh, I'm pretty fast at running, Holly, Dan Sullivan, Tommy, the most successful thing I've ever done in my life was coach a football team, Tuberville, Ron Johnson, who sounds like a porn star, Cynthia Loomis, and Marsha Fuck Your Couch Blackburn, who I thought would possibly be helpful, but definitely is not. Those are the ones that get to sue. The bill provides for $500,000 damages for each violation. That was noted on Tuesday, meaning the cost to the government could be far higher since DOJ accessed data logs of some senators more than once as part of the inquiry. She introduced an amendment to strip the provision out of the bill, but it was almost certain to be rejected by Republicans. The bottom line is, if we amend this bill with anything at all, we risk extending the shutdown, which is just fucking them lying. They don't care. They don't care that this provision's in there, and they don't care that the government is being pillaged by their fellow Republicans. They just wish they could have taken part. They're like, why didn't you guys include us? Jamie Raskin, the top Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee, put out a lengthy statement on Tuesday afternoon slamming the payout provision as blatantly corrupt and a plunder of public resources. In an interview, Raskin noted that since the senators were subject to both subpoenas and judicial non-disclosure orders, they could individually be eligible for at least $1 million in damages right off the bat. The senators are saying that they each want $1 million because Donald Trump got them involved in the attempted political coup and violent insurrection of January 6th, and a grand jury wanted to see their phone records. So I just want to point this out. So when those 8 Democrats decided to vote for this bill, they voted for these 8 senators to be able to sue the Department of Justice for $500,000 each time, knowing that Trump's Department of Justice has rolled over and given money to any Republican that has done anything, including attempted to attack the ex-vice president of the United States of America. Those 8 Democrats not only voted to end a government shutdown that is most likely going to result in your healthcare tripling, but also they voted for 8 Republican senators to potentially make more than $1 million of taxpayer money. Fuck those senators. Oh yeah, we better get to this. And look, this is the silver lining. Okay, I'm gonna say there is a silver lining here, but this is what I have to say about this. There are some machinations going on right now in the government that I think actually point towards a bit of a silver lining. And one of those is something that I think that people maybe are not giving it the amount of coverage that it should get. Like, it's kind of going under the radar just a little bit, not a lot. But it is that Trump pardoned Rudy Giuliani and others who backed efforts to overturn his 2020 election loss. So, does this have volume? It's not going to be very loud.
President Donald Trump.
Is it in my other ear? It might be in my other ear. Yeah, of course it is.
Trump has pardoned a list of political allies for their support or involvement in alleged plans to overturn the 2020 election. And it is quite a lengthy list. The Department of Justice says in total, 77 people received what they are referring to as full, complete, and unconditional pardons. Department of Justice pardon attorney Ed Martin posted a signed proclamation which read in part, "This proclamation ends a grave national injustice perpetrated upon the American people following the 2020 presidential election."
By the way, Ed Martin is the guy that is currently working with the January 6th protester that called for the killing of police officers during the January 6th insurrection. Yeah. That's who's determining this.
And continues the process of national reconciliation. The individuals listed include high-profile figures like Trump lawyers Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, and the president's former chief of staff, Mark Meadows. This group of presidential pardons is seen by many as symbolic, since it only applies to federal criminal cases, and no person on the list has been charged with a federal crime. Many, though, have faced or are facing charges in states that investigated efforts to overturn the 2020 election results. The pardon also explicitly states that it does not apply to Trump. This move marks Trump's latest step to absolve or protect allies who tried to overturn the 2020 election results. One of his first actions during his second term was to pardon over 1,000 people charged or convicted for their actions during the January 6th attack on the Capitol. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
So, what I think is actually important about this is what they said about that it seems as though that this doesn't really have any impact on the cases that any of these people currently face, and they're calling it purely symbolic. But I don't think that that's true. I think that Donald Trump and many people in Donald Trump's administration understand how poorly this is going and know that a lot of these people are going to be facing trials after Donald Trump either eats his last cheeseburger or is out of office in 2028. I think that most of these people, just like Curtis Yarvin said in his edited tweet, that he's talking about how he better leave the country, and anybody that believes the same thing as he does should leave the country as well, because there's going to be extreme retribution against all of these people. I think that that is what this signals. I think that Donald Trump is doing the same thing Biden did when he pardoned all those people that he knew that Trump would go after for going after Donald Trump. Except for, of course, in Biden's case, those people were legitimately going after Donald Trump for trying to overthrow the government, for committing an insurrection, for trying to commit a coup, because that is 100% what Donald Trump did, and that is what those people did. And if it would have went to trial in Washington under Tanya Chutkan, he would have most likely been found guilty of. Those people Biden felt needed to be protected. And in return, Donald Trump is pardoning these people because he knows that these people are going to be targeted for their part in that coup and insurrection and the attempts to overturn the 2020 election, which, as I've talked about multiple times, the fake election scheme is absolutely insane. And if you haven't ever looked at the fake election scheme, you should definitely look at that. So Let's just read a little bit of it here. It says, the move, however, underscores Trump's continued efforts to promote the idea that the 2020 election was stolen from him, even though courts around the country and Trump's own attorney general at the time found no evidence of fraud that could have affected the outcome. Reviews, recounts, and audits of the election in the battleground states where Trump contested his loss also affirmed Biden's victory. And one of the most telling things is that a third-party guy, Ken Block, who was on David Pakman's stream debating Mike Pillow, who Mike Pillow was saying, no, there's so much fraud, you don't understand, I have so much evidence of all these things. Kenneth Block, who had all the reason in the world to tell Donald Trump that there was fraud, came back and told him, no, there was not enough fraud that it in any way made it possible that Donald Trump had won that election. He had every reason to curry favor with Donald Trump and chose to instead be professional and say, you don't want to take these cases to court because you will lose them, and then I will lose my reputation. He chose to do something that many people in Trump's administration choose not to do, and that is to not be a toady, to not lie, to not be dishonest, and not to attempt to get Donald Trump to favor him and give him a place in his administration, even though I'm sure at this point Donald Trump would have pardoned him too. So just like he pardoned the J6ers, that one later got shot by a cop, one domestically violenced a woman, one was caught with child prawn. Like, I'm sure he would have qualified. Donald Trump, not exactly real worried about who he gives pardons to. You just got to give him enough money. Trump's recent actions follows the sweeping pardons of the hundreds of Trump supporters charged in January 6, 2020 riot at the U.S. Capitol, including those convicted of attacking law enforcement. So I think that this is something that actually is going to be important in the way that I do think that Donald Trump is seeing that there is a potential that people are going to be impacted. And maybe it's because he's been talking about going to heaven, and maybe he thinks this is in some way going to get him through the pearly gates. Maybe this is just because they gave him some money, but for whatever reason, I do think that this is actually something that more people should see and look at it and say to themselves, this is potentially leading to something that could eventually be good. The outcome of Donald Trump being out of office, not running for a third term, being scared of passing in the next little bit. Like that's all very, very good news in my opinion. I forgot that we got on early tonight. I'm like, why am I so tired already? And then I'm like, oh, because I got on like fucking 3 hours ago. All right, so. Yeah, do what Mama Brooke said. I'm not good at I'm gonna go back to funny stuff. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go back to funny stuff to end the night, because it was a good day overall. I want people to remember that. I want people to remember that I wanted to cover that stuff because those are all important things, and I do cut these up into extra videos, and those are all videos that I want people to see and I want people to know about. So I don't want to diminish the fact that today was actually a very good day for the for Democrats in the way that those Epstein files are coming out. It's a very good day for anybody across the political spectrum that actually cares about those women getting justice. And to stop potential of more trafficking happening in this country. So it has been a very good day, and I am very happy that we got to see the things that we did get to see concerning those Epstein files. But for now it's time to have a good laugh. And I've been enjoying quite frequently the Canadian comedy over there, and I keep getting these recommendations from people on 22-minute videos, and also there's some other channels as well that they've been telling me about, so we're going to look at those as well, and some other comedians and stuff. A lot of good stuff from the Canadians that I'm looking forward to watching on this channel. So I wanted to watch this video with you guys. This is a 22 minutes video, and it just came out over Halloween. And it's Mark Carney has some unexpected trick-or-treaters. The reason that people had asked me to watch this is apparently one of the guys that is in the 22 Minutes crew is a Trump impersonator, and they said he does a very good Trump impression. So we're going to see. We're going to judge. We're going to see out of 10 what we get. Carney talks. I think I should maybe watch a Mark Carney video because I can't judge his impersonation of Mark Carney. You guys tell me, is that how Mark Carney?
You caught me. I was holding up. Oh!
Trick or treat or both.
That's how everybody reacts to Trump showing up at the. I guarantee you, if I fucking opened my door and Donald Trump was standing right there, what are you doing here, bro? Don't grab me. Hey, okay. I need to definitely work on my Canadian history. I've barely gotten as far as I have with my American political history. I guess I need to open up more education in the Canadian history of politics as well.
So he haunts the Parliament buildings until his exorcism. Well, leadership review. He can't hurt you. He has no substance. Mr. President, come inside.
Damn.
Don't tell me what to do. Let's go inside.
Good idea.
Just follow you in, I guess. There. Can I at least get some candy?
That's pretty funny. I don't know. That's a pretty good Trump impression. I'm going 8 to 10. I'm going 8 to 10. You know, there's a black dude that was, I forgot who it was. I should know who the fuck it is, too. But there was a dude doing them with Dr. Dre, and he was killing it. He was so good. I said this before, guys. Trump supporters screwed us. We could have just had impressions of Donald Trump as a president. We never needed to actually have him as the actual president. That was one step too far. One step too far. One other thing here. Let's see. I've been doing a really poor job of stopping these videos. I'm a little bit tired today. I didn't sleep a lot last night. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I almost forgot about this video. We have to watch this one. This is the one. This is some American comedy. Okay. I don't know. Is The Onion American? I'll probably find out that The Onion is Canadian too, huh? Like, I'm finding out that everything that I think is funny actually ends up being Canadian. Is Jim Gaffigan Canadian? That might be true. I don't know. Look that up for me. Google that for me, guys. All right, so this one, last one, we're going to watch is The Onion, who we all feel bad for because at this point in time, literally The Onion has the hardest job possible, and that is making up satire in the dumbest timeline that has ever existed. It is hard to come up with something that sounds like it's real, that's stupid still, right? Like everything is just actually real and stupid, not just sounds like it's real and is stupid, which is like, you've got to give it to The Onion that they still exist at this point. Did they ever buy InfoWars? Somebody look that up for me. Because I think if they bought InfoWars, that would be good. That could help them also, because there's probably a lot of creative talent that they could keep on from InfoWars that's used to making up shit that is not true and is sometimes actually funny, even though they don't intend it to be. So anyways, this is The Onion. Study finds most Americans can't find where they are being deported on a map. You know this is true.
An alarming new educational survey has found that over 70% of Americans lack the basic geographic literacy to find where they are being deported to.
Wait, why does that man look like Mr. T? That's a young Mr. T.
Geographic literacy to find where they are being deported to on a map. Researchers found that of the thousands of participants surveyed, the vast majority could not locate the country, region, or continent where their future deportation plane would land.
Dude, most of them can't find America. If you asked Americans, where is America on the map, they might have a problem with that.
Millennials in particular stumbled, with many
Oh,
believing that their
millennials!
destinations were in Cuba or Mexico, when actually they were thousands of miles away in South America and even Africa.
Educators are now calling for strong reform and attempting to incentivize Americans to learn basic geography as part of a program called Deport Ignorance.
Eric.
Dude, I am so down. I would vote for Deport Ignorance in like a moment, guys. I would 1,000% vote for Deport Ignorance.
Freya. Assetini. Good. By the time they're 5 or 6 years old, Americans really should know where they're being.
Wait, that said family fun under martial law. Did you guys
really
see that?
should know where they're being deported to.
Walden's research team hopes that through their work, more Americans.
Later on, family fun under martial law. This is where we're at in this country right now. That's what our jokes are. Oh my God.
Good. By the time they're 5 or 6 years old, Americans really should know where they're being deported to.
Walden's research team hopes that through their work, more Americans will also be able to identify the location of the unmarked mass graves that they will all soon be thrown into. Coming up next, we have a live look at the candlelight vigil being held for the victims who caught fire at last night's candlelight vigil. You've seen the news, now touch.
Oh, it's too real. It's too real. We're laughing now. It's like that freaking Ron Burgundy meme. We're laughing. It's too real. It's too real. All right, guys. Well, don't forget, I know that we talked about a bunch of stuff that wasn't great. We also talked about a bunch of stuff that was good. And I'm super happy that we saw what we saw today from all of the emails and stuff that got leaked. The potential of these survivors of Epstein finding justice in this administration is 0 to nil. The potential of Donald Trump being held accountable for what was his part in any of this is 0 to nil, in my opinion. But I do feel like it's important to continue to talk about these things so that way when these people are not in charge, when these people are no longer in authority, that we somehow find our way to a place where we can put these people on trial. They can have their day in court, and they can attempt to prove their innocence, and we can attempt to bring justice to Epstein's victims. All right, guys. I will be back here tomorrow. Okay. Godfrey does a good one. I'm gonna have to check that out. Manny, you came in at the end. Stayed just long enough for you, Manny. And Janelle, what's happening, Janelle? All right, so we got a show tomorrow, Thursday, 5 p.m. It'll be on this channel and also on thispace.tv. So if you guys want to hang out tomorrow, stop by, drop some comments, drop some likes, drop some subscribes. Thank you to everybody that donated. Appreciate you guys. And I will hopefully see you guys tomorrow.